Welcome to the Inglorious Bards. I'm your humble game master, Tom, and this is adventure number 12. Glad to have you here. We are coming to you live on twitch.tv/ingloriousbards every Tuesday, 7 p.m. Pacific. Come join us. And we're also available on all your podcast platforms. Check out our website, inglorioussbards.com, and we post our YouTube videos of our live stream every Thursday on YouTube channel as well. So without further ado, let's get started with a recap of the session from the last adventure.
In the last adventure, the defenders were in the middle of a temple, buried deep in the great big pits of Mearscon, the temple of Mansilla. And Xander got kissed! Wow! By Padik, we found out, the halfling girl, who then followed up by slapped him, kissed him again, worked great. And then they went through and continued to battle out the rest of the elements of the temple to get to the very end where they found the Nexus key. There was also messaging inside, as well as a huge chest of platinum that we managed to get out of there. We followed the instructions, went all the way through Mearscon, and in a doorway in the sky over an area that was a bit of a boarding house, we turned the key into the air and opened up the door to the Nexus. It is now, from what we can tell from the messages of Antoria, our Nexus, and a safe haven for all of us. That is where we left off. And so from that point on, let the adventure begin!
In the city of Mearscon, a senator's aide knocks on an ornate door and quickly enters. Inside is Senator Kethad, an old, gaunt man wearing the official trappings of the kingdom and a scowl. He glares at his aide, tapping at his glass of wine with a long finger, waiting for the news.
Senator, I just returned from the Office of the Writ, and I have officially submitted...
Get on with it already. Is it true?
Yes. Senator Grier has called a meeting of the Senate to discuss the rumors of the king's return.
Kethad throws his glass against the wall in anger. That bastard is going to have Phaon's name officially announced in the Senate Hall and force me to denounce his right to the throne. After everything I have done to claim our power, my power in Navarre, after everything I have sacrificed to ensure we have the money, we have the control, and these old fools with faded memories of some glorious past, they will just give it all back to a king who abandoned them?
Sir, perhaps if we just wait, once the truth comes out that this is all a hoax and the king is dead, then the people...
The icy glare from Kethad brings silence to the chamber. We must take immediate action, appease the masses to keep them on our side and bring violence to Phaon. First step, tell our loyal senators to pass a law that puts to death any old men in the city pretending to be our dead king and any conspirators of this hoax as well. Second, we announce a stop to all taxation till winter and let the people celebrate our generosity.
Sir, how will we keep the treasury funded?
I will speak with House Nakor. It is time they make sacrifices for all the coin they've been reaping.
But the town guard, soldiers, who will protect the city?
We will pay for those soldiers loyal to the Senate. For the city's protection, that experiment in Tabernary with the Renarian Brotherhood, that's worked out well, and the Brotherhood has always wanted responsibility here in Mearscon. Let those priests keep the criminals in line. It won't cost us a copper.
Sir, if I may offer a suggestion, it has been a while since we held Commoner's Law. A spirited competition of horsemanship, archery, and wood chopping might further distract the people.
Yes, yes. And the winner makes their little decree, and the people feel they have a voice. We'll show them how kind and benevolent this Senate is while we hunt down and kill Phaon the moment he steps foot in Mearscon. I will burn this city to the ground before I hand it over to Phaon. This is my Senate, my kingdom. Somewhere within the city of Mearscon, yet also beyond it, our heroes stand inside the Nexus, a private study and sanctuary. Amongst desks and wood paneling, Xander finishes reading the letter left behind by the previous owner of the Nexus.
Most importantly, enjoy the labor I put into my stories. While I have led a quiet life, the books I have written have made my life a constructive one. I am tired now, tired in a way deep within my bones. It is time for me to look upon my home one last time and leave this place for good. Oh, that's sad. I expect I will miss you by only a season or two, but my time on this earth is over. I leave you my treasure, my nexus, my trust, and my fondest wishes. Signed, your brother, Antoria. It was dated more than 20 years ago.
The group looks around at the place and each other. No one is sure how to respond.
I gather this place is ours then?
Well, mine, technically. And I'm the one with the key.
Be that as it may, it sounds as though this nexus offers us respite and safety from our enemies in the city, both of which we certainly need.
No trees, just an office, yet I admit a certain sense of ease of being here.
Well, let's take a look around and see what we see. Then we gotta figure out what we're doing next.
What would you like to do?
Well, my first thought is if this place is as secure as it sounds, according to this letter, this is a really good place to hide things. Like, we can stash that. We don't have to carry around this Nakor key anymore. We can find a good place for it. Maybe there's a vault or a chest.
Just how big is this place? From outside, you can't tell its size, and this room is sizable, but can't hold everything we would find.
Well, there's one way you find out.
Jix he walks stage left.
Starts breaking through walls.
Through the fourth wall. There is a dark redwood door to the left. Next to it, also on the left, is a plain door with a black key hanging from a nail. On the right-hand side is some spiral stairs of stone that head down. Also in this place, there is a workshop desk. There is a writing desk. There are some books that are chained to a wall. There's also this beautiful conservatory that is an extension of this room that extends out and is essentially a mini hall, if you will, that goes nowhere with a rounded corner, and it's completely surrounded by glass, giving you a gorgeous view outside. That has lots of cushioning and bench seating along it. There's also a pedestal on there with a book on it at the end of that conservatory. And that's what you see. There's a fire that's already going in the fireplace.
The view from the conservatory is of Mearscon.
You head over there. Jix heads over. You have to clamber on some of these nice, fancy, dark red cushioned benches out the conservatory, and you can see the view out the window is not of Mearscon. It is of an ocean as far as you can see. It is a dark blue ocean of dark water with occasional white caps. You can look down and see that this is some incredibly smooth stone that this nexus structure you were on is made of, and it goes down and it's just slightly goes outwards a little bit, but since it's 200 feet tall, you end up being able to see quite a bit of the downward slope. Down below is a tremendous amount of waves that are just crashing and hitting and rolling over. But it's perfectly smooth, almost like a modern day, like some sort of hydro dam type thing or some sort of oil rig where it's just completely coming out of the ocean that you can see. And you look down out the window, you can see down and to the left is a roof, just a floor down, and there is a big window section there that is looking down on some lower room below.
I just was going to go down the stairs that you mentioned.
All right.
We're not in Mearscon anymore.
Good.
He says to no one. He's the only one in the conservatory.
Hey, Xander, that letter mentioned this workbench. You can copy some keys, yeah?
Yes, it does, right here.
We should figure that out. Get everyone a key.
I mean, okay, we don't have to rush on that or anything. Let's look around.
Xander, no love shacks! As I go down the stairs.
So you head on down, and you reach a kitchen that this spills into. It is a slightly sizable kitchen with a big brick fireplace. There's a fire that is currently going in that fireplace. There are pots and pans that look well kept that are hanging from pegs. Also here. Where are we at? Kitchen. You see there is a small little door, maybe 2 foot by 2 foot in the wall, a little high, maybe around hip height. There is another door like that is further down the wall. So there's 2 of those doors.
Okay.
There is a regular sized door made of iron that leads out of here. There is a thicker door here, and then there's a hallway out. There's a lot of the locations here in this kitchen. Did you get all that?
I just walked into the TARDIS, I think. So first I just yell, Xander or Jex, there's a couple doors down here for you. And then I'll go into the first iron door.
All right, so you have to type open door and then type go west, and then you. No, I'm just kidding. Kidding.
Okay. 3, 3, 5, 8, 7. Up,
like
down, down, left, right, left, right.
All right, you go to the first door out of the kitchen. You open it up, and it opens up into a storage room that's just beyond. You see there are several crates inside. The crates are filled with dried and salted food that seem to be in still great shape, totally edible. And there is also a storage chest that's wedged up in the corner of this room that you do not know the contents. It is closed and locked.
Okay, how heavy is it when I pick it up? Can I pick it up?
You could pull it very slowly, sliding it on the floor.
I'll pull it out to make it visible, and just in case anybody else comes down, but I'll kind of continue down further if there is such space.
All right, what would anyone else like to do?
There was a red door as well.
Back up above, yes. You go and open up that door. It's a dark redwood door. You open it up, and inside is a small bedroom. It is with a cozy looking bed. It's got a wardrobe in there. It's got some table. It's got some a quill with ink bottle. There's some pages, but all the pages seem to be empty. And the room looks like it was used, and like the bed's unmade, the wardrobe's open. You can see some plain clothes that are within. You're not seeing anything that jumps out to you as valuable, but it does look very cozy. It's very warm. There are pictures of landscapes of different locations. It's very attractive. There's a window outside that you can look out and see this endless ocean. So that's what you find behind that door.
So Soldern's gonna basically check under the bed, move the picture frames, kind of go through all the normal stuff.
He's ransacking the place, smashing the pictures over the bedpost.
Gentle ransacking.
That's a show title. All right, who else would like to do something?
Was there another door off the main floor?
Yes.
I'll check that out. Igno will check that out.
All right, there is another door on the main level, and that is the one with a black key hanging from a nail. You open it, and the key just bangs on it. And inside is a brightly lit room from lamps that are burning brightly. It is a room that is made of copper walls, copper floor, and copper ceiling.
Whoa.
Wow.
There is a pole that extends out of the middle of the room that it goes maybe 4 feet high, and on top of that is a plate, a circle of copper attached to it, and that circle, a little plate, has a slot in the middle of it.
Well, what's the slot look like it's for?
Is that like a Faraday cage that you're walking into?
Yeah, your cell phones will not work in there.
You can make an Iggy. Let's do something for your forte this time. Let's make an Arcana roll for Iggy.
Oh, yay.
First roll of the adventure.
Yeah, 3.
Living up.
Wow.
It's a room.
He starts putting food on the copper
Yeah.
plate. Gravy. Yeah, you have no idea.
Okay.
This copper tastes awful.
I'll scratch my head and walk out.
Okay, anyone else?
You had
Save it.
mentioned. Oh,
Yeah, go ahead. Brandon,
you
go
had
ahead.
mentioned that there was a key on the door.
Yes.
Brenros
Oh,
just
God damn it.
haphazardly just picked that up and
All right.
examined that key.
You grab it. What's going on, Seth?
That's what I thought. I just assumed that opened the door. So yeah, Iggy's just a dummy.
Were you looking for this?
Oh, no, you should go. Let's go try it. You're smart, Brenros.
Try it on what? What's in there?
There's like, come here. And I show him the hole in the plate.
All right, Brenros, you go into the copper room, and the first thing you notice, there's another key on the floor that's red that Iggy didn't spot either, and you pick that key up off the ground. You now have 2 keys in your hands, and Iggy's just like glaring at you.
Yeah.
You pull out a 3rd key behind his ear.
I have found Ignal's weakness. He's colorblind. He can't. Which key was it? What you had something to be done with these keys?
I
They
don't
go
know.
someplace
Maybe.
in
You want me to
this,
try?
this center. Well, the black one was out there. Here, try this one. I also found this red one on the floor here. You must have missed it.
Let's try the black one. Oh, I missed it. Yeah. So I'll put the black key in the slot. Does it fit?
It fits into the slot, but there's plenty of room to slide it up and down. And the moment you put it into the slot, nothing happens. And Brenros just watches you as you just slide the key forward and backwards.
So is the plate mounted
forward, and we go to the audience.
vertically?
Yes, what? Yes,
Is
what?
the plate mounted vertically or horizontal?
It's a horizontal plate. So it's a pole that comes out of the ground about 4 feet with a plate on top, and then there's a long groove, maybe about 2 inches wide and about the length, like 12 inches, 16 inches long.
What do you make of this, Brenros?
Doesn't turn like a key. You put it in and you keep taking it out. Have you given it a twist?
It just like moves in there. I'll try and I'll twist it.
Meanwhile, who else would like to do
Yeah.
something?
Xander was really interested in the books. He mentioned the stories that were written inside the letter, and Toria did.
Yeah, there's one on the pedestal in their conservatory, or are you talking about the books on the wall?
Probably the one in the conservatory first, since it's not chained up on the
Okay.
wall like the other books are, right?
Yes, Sildren's kind of interested in that too. And I'll maybe join Xander if I may.
Sure, the 2 of you are there.
And Jix.
And Jix
Oh,
was
Jix
already
is
there. You were there, Xander. You were up first. You see there's a small podium that's at the end of the conservatory with a great view of the ocean. There's lots of overcast clouds. You can also again smell a little bit of smell of the ocean and leather and paper that is throughout this place. You're at the book. It does not look like a cozy place to read, but you're there. Light reveals fancy little title lettering. The book's closed and it just says Southern Varennes on it.
Cool. I'd like to open it.
You open it up, and it's just a simple book about the local region of Varennes, south of Maiden's Depths. It mentions a few of the local customs and goes into some detail about a strong people making a living in a tough but growing region. It goes into details about the natural environment there with some aimless ramblings about gnarled grass, willow trees, and overcast clouds. The benefit is, Xander, you gain a +1 to society rolls for the next day while trying to recall knowledge about this region.
Oh, all right.
And then you close your eyes and you can almost picture the place through the vivid imagery until you open your eyes and find that you are there. A damp wind blows through your hair, Xander. Scraggy, thick grass is beneath your feet. A
What?
wide swamp stretches out behind you.
Hang on.
And the smell of moss and peat hangs heavy in the air. There are
Wait.
dark clouds rolling overhead.
Where'd everybody
And
go?
the room you were once in is gone. You are all alone in a wide open plain next to a swamp.
Hello?
What's going on
Hello?
for the rest of us? What did we see?
You start chatting, and suddenly you see Xander instantly teleport away. You guys all just throw up your hands. You're like, here we go again with Xander. Xander is, he
Nick
starts
looks for some
reading.
chalk. Looks to draw a rabbit.
Starts doing jicks everywhere. You just see him with his hand, his finger going down, reading the lines, and then he's shoot, gone.
Yeah, does this make a sound or anything that I would hear downstairs?
No, it does not.
Okay.
It's totally silent.
Okay, so I have no idea. So I'm in the basement just eating an apple.
Sildren's going to give a loud whistle for the group because I mean, like obviously there's something of some import has just happened. So
Well,
you know,
try
Sildren
turning the
will-
key the other way, Ignore.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's going on out there? Why is there whistling?
I don't know.
You guys all gather around the podium. What do you say, Sildren?
Xander was reading from this book and disappeared. He is gone.
What do you mean he's gone?
Like not
Xander?
present anymore.
Xana, this isn't funny.
Jix
Magic-
hops up and starts like looking at the page that Xander was reading.
All right, let's go back to Xander.
Hello?
It is cold. You see just swamp around you. Off in the distance, there's several clumps of willow trees, and it is you're totally caught off guard. You can see next to you is a small obelisk that used to be about 4 feet high, but it looks like it was smashed. And other than that, it's just this slightly mushy ground where it's walkable, but you can see behind you, maybe a couple hundred yards, is much more of a wet swamp.
Okay. What would Sildren do? Okay. Help! Xander starts. Looks. I'm not holding anything, right? Like the book didn't come with me. There's no
Nope.
podium. Just that
Nope.
little obelisk. Xander will go and investigate the obelisk real quick.
All right, you look around the obelisk. It looks very smooth. You can see the former top of the obelisk lies on the ground a few feet away, and it's mostly covered over in grass. It looks like it's been laying there for quite a long time. And you can see there's some sort of carving into the stone part of the obelisk, but it's covered by mud. And that's the only concept of anything structural or natural. Everything else is structural. There's nothing else man-made you see anywhere around here.
I will. Xander detects magic just to see.
Okay. What's the sound that makes when you detect magic?
Please, no.
Xander, you detect magic.
Okay, that's a good sign. There's something. Okay, so Xander will isolate and focus on detecting what the magic is and where it's coming from.
All right, you walk 30 feet over here, 40 feet over here. The range is about 30 feet from you, and you're able to isolate that it is the base of the obelisk where the source of the magic is coming from.
Okay, so you did this. All right. How do we get back? Let's see.
I saw this in a movie once. Click your heels together 3 times.
Is that what I do? I'll try it. I'll try anything. I want to clarify. I was writing notes and I wasn't writing fast enough when you were saying, is it toppled over or is it just like worn down?
No, it's been smashed, and so like the top third has fallen off.
Okay. Is it a reasonable size that I could pick it up and put it on?
It is a reasonable
giant?
size
Okay.
for a reasonable person to pick up. Yes.
I am a gnome.
And you
Is
are
that
not reasonable.
No, dang it!
But yeah, you can give it a shot. Make an athletics roll. Just need a 15.
Good luck.
Athletics. I can do this. Yeah, get. It's 5.
5. You have trouble even just getting it out of the mud that it's stuck in, or just digging with your hands, getting all dirty, and there's just no way you can easily lift this thing up.
I don't like mud. Okay. Okay.
You do recognize, though, you've able to carve some of the mud out of the way. You see that the symbol that was carved into the top section of the toppled obelisk is the heraldry of the Kingdom of Navarre.
Okay, so that's a good sign. I'm probably not too far away. I just knew where I was. Okay. I have an idea. Let's walk this way.
And Xander walks that way. Jix, what were you doing? You were doing something.
Jix hops up on the. I'm picturing like a little stand, a little tiny little podium, just like where a conductor would stand in front of this pedestal, and he just starts looking up the page to see what Xander was reading, and just starts. Grass, mud. This sounds like a place I would like.
And then zoom, Jix is gone.
Hey, remember when I asked Xander to make copies of that key?
Yeah.
He is a dick.
I guess that means we don't have a choice. We have to go follow him.
Jix, you appear in a foreign location. You are clearly no longer in the Nexus, and you do not believe you are in Mearscon, the city of Mearscon, either. It is cold, and there are clouds over you. It is swampy nearby. You can see some willow trees, and maybe 80 yards away, you can see a determined gnome storming off in a random direction.
Oh, I found him! Hey, Jenner!
Tell me what to do. I know how to get where I'm going. I could be a Sildren too. I could do survival tricks. You sound like a Jix. I could sing like Jix too. They don't know that. I can do anything I want to do. I'm
Jix
Xander.
is just starting to run over and just wag him down.
There's like alchemical fire explosions whipping past you.
I can do that. Whoa! And Xander will turn around. Jix! You found me!
Hey, I found you! Where are we?
We're here!
Awesome!
Jix, how far away is Jix from this pedestal, or from this other little stone?
About 50 yards, not that far.
Does he see it? It's in between him and Xander, I'm assuming.
You are at it.
All right.
And then you walked away after Xander.
I'm just picturing like a slow motion running at each other like last week. Xander trying to kiss him, you know?
They run, and then it's an awkward school dance. The last minute, just
Shoulders.
Jenner. What?
Yeah!
Where are we?
We are in the swamp! I think! According to there's a marker here in the obelisk that says Navarre, so I think we're still in Navarre. Do you know how to get back?
Jix looks down at this engraving.
You look at the engraving. It is the you clearly identify as the Kingdom of Navarre heraldry.
Okay.
I don't know how to get back. Maybe we put this thing back together. Something will happen.
I was gonna try that too. But I
Yeah.
wanted to wait for somebody else because I didn't want to just lift it all by myself. I could have. I just didn't want to overdo it. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you're here, so let's do it.
Right. I don't know if anyone else is coming, so let's just do this thing.
Okay.
All right. So the two of you start working on this obelisk, trying to get the broken piece on top. Jix, I need you to make an athletics roll, and you get to add +2 for the help of Xander the gnome.
All right.
I'm adding 2 more. I'm helping.
Yeah.
15.
Oh, it's exactly 15 with a +2. You guys get it up, and it's right in there, and then it falls over the other side in the mud. Then you pick it up again, and you get it just right, and then it falls towards Xander, and you go, no. You finally get it in, and someone has to be there to hold it in place.
Okay, I'm gonna go right around.
Okay.
All right, Jix, you have it held, and Xander runs around the other side and just looking at you like 8 inches away now.
Okay, I'm gonna look through it. Do I need to make a roll for it, or do I get to see anything? I'm looking for like connected lines. I'm looking for any sort of thing that's not just the Navarre engraving.
All right, make a perception roll.
Yeah, that's a 16. That's a
With a
little low. I think I'm gonna
16.
spend a hero point on that actually,
Sure.
and see if I can do a better perception roll. I'm gonna be really perceptive. Yeah, 14.
14.
Damn it.
You take a look, you start looking closely and closely, and then you do notice something, and that is the sound of an elf vomiting as Idrisil arrives, and the movement does not agree with you, Idrisil. You have arrived in this foreign land.
What
Ah!
the hell, Xana? What'd you do that for?
I don't think I did it. Sorry.
How did you do that?
I was
Why
reading the
did you
thing.
do that? And where is Jex?
He's holding the tower.
Jex, let me hold that thing.
Oh, sure.
And Jix just lets go.
I'll just take it and I just lean on it.
There's
like
a big
this.
splat of mud.
I just lean on it like this. Okay, so now what?
I was hoping you were going to get us back. I was trying to read the thing, and then you got here.
If Idrisil is holding the thing, Jix runs around to where Xander is on the other side and
Okay.
takes a look.
All right. Make a perception roll, Jix.
Okay. And that is a solid 14.
Another 14. You clearly identify the sound of a half-elf vomiting as Sildren arrives, and this movement does not agree with you, and Sildren the Druid is on scene.
Our party is getting smaller.
I think that book is bad news. Don't read it, Brenro.
Let's throw it out the window.
He throws it out the window. He hacks the pedestal with an axe. No one's ever allowed in the conservatory again.
Marside, the sky is just rending apart with like a giant axe.
Sildren, you have arrived.
So,
Yeah.
what's your perception?
14.
Come on, then.
Let's have a look around. Sildren kind of takes a quick look around, looks at the thing that they're all holding, and
Okay.
kind of looks over Jix's shoulder.
Make a perception roll, Sildren. Sildren not phased at all, apparently, about being in this foreign location.
27.
27, you look it over with a very keen eye and can clearly identify there is nothing else on this obelisk.
Yeah, nothing to it. It's
Dang
just this right here. Was there supposed to be something? Is this different?
In Elvish, it reads, "You are here."
Yeah.
It's clearly
Pretzels this way.
Adidas.
Give me a quick description of our environment again.
Happy
Okay,
to.
so I was reading a little book, and then I was going down the book about everything about Son of the Navarre. And there's a grass bird in there. There's a whole thing about
No, not you.
And everything I was looking at.
He wants some more game master related
The narrator in the sky, please.
Not Color Man, Xander.
Yeah, why don't you go no someone?
It's harsh.
When we need someone to panic, we'll come get you. Just for now.
What an asshole!
You are in a scraggly bit of uneven ground. It's very mossy with thick grass. There are off in the distance, maybe a quarter mile this way and that way and that way. There are clumps of willow trees. There's dark clouds overhead. Behind you is a swamp, and it's cold, and that's what you see.
Okay. I guess. I mean, we'll wait for our group for a little while, and then if they don't appear, it's to the trees. It would seem like.
How did you get here?
I read that book that you were reading, and that's what everybody else. That's what Jix and Idrisil did as well.
So we all read the book.
Yep.
Way to Brenros and Ignal just trying to figure out what one word actually is enunciated like. No, I don't think it's like that at all.
Maybe amongst the other books, it tells us how this thing works. Where do you think those other guys are? You think they're like out having fun somewhere?
They just read this, as far as I know, anyway. But you give it a try.
I know, but where'd they go?
No, Iggy is immune to this particular mode of travel.
That's why he didn't want Brenros to read it because he was going to be alone.
Yeah, I'd be alone in the Nexus forever.
He can't leave because he doesn't have a key to get back in.
Red key.
Yeah.
No key, can't read.
Can open the door and like prop it with a rock.
And he buys a fake rock with a hole in it and puts it out in space outside the Nexus.
Dwarven way.
Brenros, Iggy, you have any plan?
Yeah, I mean, I do want to go back over like where the other books are. Like, what's on the cover of the other books?
Oh, on the other books, you see there are essentially 4 other books that are hanging from the wall. They're chained in an X pattern. There's room for a 5th one, but that is missing.
Could I presume that the 5th one is the one that's in the observatory on the pedestal?
You can absolutely presume that. Yes.
Okay. Does that book look like the rest of them?
It does.
Okay.
Good clarification.
You gotta ask the right questions.
They're chains.
But in all, yeah, okay. So then you do see names on the other books. There is one that's labeled Eastern Varen. There's
really,
one
though, for him.
Yeah, I can read a little bit. Last update, I got a 1 intelligence point.
Oh, wow.
I can a little bit.
There's another book that reads in fine lettering, gold lettering, Northern Varen. There are 2 more books. These not only have chains, but they're chained more tighter and they are locked. And the first book of these 2 is labeled Elder Sphere. And the other book is labeled Illistel.
How do you spell that one?
I-L-E
Trouble.
I-L-E-S-T-E-L-L. I-L-E-S-T-E-L-L. Illistel.
And there's not like another little book like Sid's instruction manual or anything, is there?
No, that went with the Greatest American Hero instruction book. Believe it or not.
Brenros, I think they happened upon like a portal here.
Well, they're not here. I would have to assume that. But how do we get to them?
Well, I think we just read the words, but how do we get that? I mean,
We could be fighting a dragon right now for all they know.
yeah, we don't know where they are. We don't know if we want to go where they are. None of these books say pub on it. So I'm pretty happy here.
Yeah, we haven't checked all of the places.
This is really just an invisibility book, and they're testing you.
It's just standing.
We're just outside the window.
snickering. Well, we can read this and possibly go where they go. Again,
Stop putting your finger in the hole.
Okay, well, go ahead.
No.
The brave Sir Renrose.
It's really he's challenging my literacy.
We could just check the rest of this place out. We could get first pick our rooms.
And off they go. Meanwhile, stranded in the middle of nowhere are our other four heroes in this strange land, standing around this obelisk with the mark of the Kingdom of Navarre.
Okay, so the last time when we needed to find the Nexus, the key took us there. So let's take a look at my key real quick.
The book was about southern Varennes,
Yes,
but this obelisk is from Navarre.
it has the heraldry of Navarre.
Okay.
This-
It's map time.
This seems a little out of place, doesn't it? I mean, I've never seen
of
this
place?
place before. And the book we were reading was about southern Varennes. But this signet is from Navarre. That's not in southern Varennes.
Okay, I'm trying to figure out where you're going with this.
Well, I don't even know where I'm at, so I don't know where I'm going yet.
Xana, which way is the key pointing that you just mentioned?
Yeah, so Xander will pull out the key and take a look at it, see if it's made any shapes or changes or anything.
Yeah, you've been talking the whole time to Jix about this. You've got the key, it's kind of big size key made out of wireframe, little magical lines. You got it over your shoulder talking to Jix, and Idrisil is just snapping and just pointing at the key, which seems to be getting this weird agitated motion as you point it above the obelisk.
It's done this before. Xander will move towards the obelisk and keep pointing the key towards the top of where it would have been.
All right, you do so, and you feel it go in, and you feel a pulling sensation, different than the door experience you had, but there's a pulling sensation. There's an opening of energy, white energy, and Xander, you go through, and there is a brief moment. And there's a brief moment where it remains behind before it closes.
Idrisil jumps in. I'm taking Jix with me.
Idrisil was fast, and he pulled Jix with him. Sildren, it closes before you're able to get there, and you slam into the obelisk.
Oh.
Portals!
Where did we land?
Yeah.
You all tumble out back into the conservatory as you see Iggy and Sir Brenros leaving with heaps of treasure. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, you guys spill out in the conservatory.
Oh my gosh!
Okay.
So meanwhile, Sildren is gonna cosplay a dead person. He's gonna like break a couple of his arrows and like put himself over the obelisk.
Okay. Yeah. So Idrisil just like tumbles with everybody back in the room.
Is everyone back?
Well, that was quite an adventure. Where's
Xana, take somebody with you and go get Sildren back.
He didn't make it.
He died?
Super serious.
You guys kill him?
Oh,
Not a-
okay,
Not on
It
purpose.
was the dragon.
we're almost getting this. I think I'm figuring it out. Okay, back to the book.
No.
Too late. He's gone. Xander is gone.
I'm gonna murder that gnome.
Xander, you arrive and see that someone has murdered Sildren in the 5 seconds since you've been gone.
How long has it been, children? I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Ignol, I think we should put this book away.
That That's not a bad idea.
Let's
It's a
get the
pop-up
hell
book. There's
outta
like
here.
Xander.
It's closed.
There's a bookmark.
There's a hand that comes trying to come out at the last second that's stuck as a bookmark.
Xander pulls a flat Stanley. Okay, so Xander will, if you were actually cosplaying,
Yeah, no,
Xander will tentatively tap you. Okay,
he's fine.
all right. Oh, we did it! Okay, watch this! And Xander will take the Nexus key again and point it towards the top of the obelisk.
All right, there is
Shove him out of the way and jump through the portal.
For that again.
Before the description can be finished, Xander is knocked aside, and Sildren, you tumble back into the conservatory in the Nexus. Xander follows with a glare.
As soon as they jump back in, Idrisil, sees them putting the book away, and I drag Xander over to the key that was mentioned in the note, to the door, I should say, that makes copies that Iggy mentioned earlier.
All right, which one is that? There's a couple locations.
I think you said it's the leftmost door. You said one of them makes copies, or in the note he mentioned it.
The workbench.
Workbench.
You guys got to tell me. You're going to the workbench that's in this main room.
I'm dragging Xander to the workbench then.
All right.
Ouch, geez, come on, calm down, I can walk.
This is very important now that we know what this room can do.
What can this room do? All I can see is trouble reading books.
Oh, you guys didn't see. We ended up in a swamp area. There was an obelisk with the Navarre symbol on it, but it was a little broken. It was broken down, but when you read the book, it zapped us right to this spot in a swamp area.
The swamp. The same
Incidentally,
one you're
thanks for
treading
checking
all
up
around
on
here.
us.
Yeah, go ahead, Zen.
That is a weird question, but it's something I'm a little concerned about with our brand new Nexus. Are we tromping swamp mud all over the floor?
There is no swamp on the ground.
Okay. Good
And there's no swamp on your fingers either from pulling at the mud.
Okay. Huh.
I don't detect any swamp, but clean as a whistle as you go through the portal, I guess.
I mean, it may not have been real, but we weren't here, right? We were gone.
All the more reason to put this book away. It seems to be causing trouble.
Well, hang on. I was able to use the key to get us back. We put the key over the obelisk that was there, and it opened up something that got interrupted before Sildren knocked me over, and then we got inside here. It was kind of like another door, but it wasn't quite the Nexus door. Anyway, it was really cool. I want to try it with another book.
Well, what about with another key?
Well, we only have the one key. That's why we're here, isn't it, Idrisil?
Yeah, and he's like being held over. His feet are
being
doing
pulled
this
backwards.
He's trying to run.
Just the look of realization. The cry, oh.
Idrisil, you take him over to the workshop desk is where you said you were headed. Is that right?
Yes.
This is a desk of one of two desks that are in the main chamber here in the upper area of the Nexus. It has lots of tools of an alchemical nature. It counts as an alchemical workshop with little beakers and base elements and everything you would need to make alchemical items. And there's a cabinet that's located next to it that is closed. You see there are some scrolls tucked into the workshop desk, but primarily it's for mixing ingredients together.
Jix is very wide-eyed looking around the room.
Whoa. Guys. This is a serious laboratory. I've got some experimenting to do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Xana?
Yeah, I'm trying. Okay, so Xander will go to the other bench, the one that's not converted to chemicals.
Yeah, so what we're talking about, you guys are in the main room with all the gorgeous wood paneling. There are 2 desks. One is against one wall. That is the workshop desk. Xander's now going to the other, asking to be carried over to the other side of the desk. That desk is
leash.
Yeah,
a child leash.
I took my whip out, and I'm just
meanwhile picks up the letter. Antori's letter and sees, hey, it's the room on the left. That's the key room.
This one? And I point Xander in that direction.
There are 2 doors over there. One that is that silver one in, the dark wood one, and then the other one that's a plain wood door that used to have a black key on it.
Probably this room here. I already been in here. I don't know what it does, so let's figure it out.
I found this key on the door, and then I found this key on the floor and behind the door. So no more.
Dr. Seuss.
Well, if there's a key on the door, that's probably a key room. Let's take a look.
You go in there, you find the same copper room I described earlier, copper floor, copper walls, copper ceiling. There is a copper pole that sticks out about 4 feet with a copper plate on top of it with a groove and through the plate.
And we tried putting the key in the middle, and it just doesn't seem to work.
Reading this note, we need to place the Nexus key on top of it.
You had the wrong key, I think.
Oh.
Xander will pull out the Nexus key. And,
Okay.
Try to set it in the groove on the copper plate.
It slots in there nicely and rests. It kind of hangs off either side, but the main length of the key sits in the slot perfectly.
Hey, Xander, say my name.
Ignal Heavybringer.
You say that, and there's a weird little sparkle on one side of the plate and a small, much smaller, several inches instead of like a foot long, several inch key, somewhat similar to the Nexus key, fades and materializes into existence on the copper plate.
Thank you very much.
Xander reaches down and hands it over to Ignal, or tries to before it gets taken out from under his hand.
Yeah.
Wow, that was cool!
Yeah, this is pretty cool. Let's go check out the rest of the place, Xander.
Whoa, wait a minute.
He's still in the air right now.
But his feet turn and start.
Idrisil, you wanted one too? We should all have one, I think.
That would be very gracious of you, Zana. And I put him down.
All right.
Idrisil! Idrisil!
Idrisil is fine.
2 keys appear.
He leans over and says, "My real name is Kenny." That's Idrisil's my stage name. You say everyone's name and create a key for everyone. And everyone, you now have a key to the Nexus.
Are they all identical, or do they have different looks or appearances, and anything that differentiates them from each other?
They all look completely identical. They look like miniaturized versions of the main Nexus key that you have in your possession.
All right, cool.
But you did accidentally say Jix's name twice, and his first key disappeared, and the second key materialized.
Do they look anything like that red key that was on the floor?
Not in the slightest.
Okay.
Xander, should you make a copy for yourself too? And maybe we'll just leave the master one here in the Nexus where it's safe.
I don't know. I mean, I suppose I could try it, but this is already my key. Which still makes me question. You guys, look at the letter. Antoria didn't leave this to us. It wasn't to Xander. It wasn't to the Defenders. It wasn't even to the Champions of Phaon. It was to his brother. How can we pick up these keys? How can I have this key?
Maybe you have a brother you don't know about.
That's not it. You're crazy.
Does Jix have any Mearscon society lore knowledge about Antoria?
Make a Mearscon lore roll. You're pretty good at that.
Oh,
Well, I guess I'll just
27.
I guess I'll just hold on to these until they're called for, and
Benros,
drops the black key and the red key into his sack.
You don't want to put them. You don't want to put them on the door. That's where we found. Well, the black one we found there.
I'm actually gonna take the black one. I'm gonna ask Brenros for it before he puts it in his pocket. Brenros, can you hand me that black key?
Hand it over. The red key goes into Brenros' sack.
It just still goes downstairs.
All right, Idrisil, you head downstairs. Jix, you with your Mearscon lore have heard of a wizard by the name of Antoria once before. The only thing you can recall, he's a very obscure reference, is he was part of Mearscon, lived in Mearscon several decades ago, and he was a loner, not connected with any guild or house or association very much at all. Didn't particularly care for them.
That's all I know. Okay.
That's all you know.
You know, I remember hearing about this Antoria guy. He's a really old fart. Just kind of kept to himself. I don't know. I don't know if he had a brother or not, but he's probably been dead a long time.
Maybe not. Maybe he just didn't. He created this and wanted to move on.
He could have just enabled the key for the next person who got to it, versus specifically keyed to his brother, to ensure that what he had created moved on if his brother was not the one to get to it, just presuming that with the notes he left, only his brother would find it.
Yeah, I suppose that makes sense. It seems very specific in his note, though.
Or you have a relative you know nothing of.
Is there anything?
That's all right.
Jix wants to start looking around this nexus.
That's what we've been doing.
Yeah, you got to get more specific.
Wants to look around the rooms, the facility, to determine if Jix is wondering if by brother Antoria meant like brother in the field of wizardry or under a certain like sign or symbol or something.
So you're
like that.
what are you looking for?
He's
You're
looking
looking
for
for
anything that would give a clue as to if Antoria belonged to any sort of brotherhood of any type.
All right, Idrisil, you are downstairs, and what are you doing down there? You have
Yeah, speaking of the letter and everything, Idrisil's kind of just mumbling to himself, like, why don't you just give the key to your brother? Why not just, you left it in a pit you left it in a temple at the bottom of a pit. What are you thinking? Who does that? And I go to that storage chest, and I try to open it with the black key.
All right, you go there, and it is locked. You try to put the key in. There's no place to put the key in. Instead, you see there is a numeric tumbler with 3 numbers awaiting an entry.
Oh, okay.
Ignal comes up right behind him and punches 333.
I was waiting for punches, and then
Yeah, okay, then you get punched by Idrisil for stealing his damn thunder.
Is that 9 times?
Iggy scrolls through it and gets the 333 in, looks at you with a smile, and Idrisil, you push him out of the way, you open up your chest nonetheless. And Idrisil, inside, you see...
Yeah, I pull a Jix and I just pull it away from everybody again.
You guys are such good at sharing.
No, it's open, it's fine.
Inside, you see there is a small, a sizable sack of gold in there.
I grab
and
it.
You grab it, you weight it, you estimate it to be 80 gold pieces in value. You also see there are 2 other items in there. One is a small little sphere, almost like a marble of a cool color, and the other is a stylish-looking badge, maybe a badge of office. You're not sure for what purpose, though.
Any particular symbol on the badge that's not like I would
Make a society roll. Make a society roll.
Society. Never roll society. This is going to be interesting.
Nurse is trying to find something that is helpful in the way of cartography, some maps or information.
I got a 15, by the way.
All right, with 15, you have no idea what this little patch thing is.
Okay, I'll just kind of pin it to myself, just in an obvious place, and I'll bring it up when I come back upstairs. But if there's nothing else in the chest, I'll just close it.
All right, Brenrose, you're also looking around, and for anything map related in the main Nexus chamber, you're not finding anything currently, but I'll let you know. There are places you guys haven't been to yet, and things you haven't checked out. Anything else you want to do?
I'm grabbing an apple and coming back upstairs, and I'll just present the bag of everybody. And or the bag to everybody. Sojourn, what was that math again that we used for the platinum?
I think it's 13.
All right, and I'll keep that extra. Thank you very much. And I'll just hand out 13 gold to everybody.
All right.
Unless you feel that we should refrain from, you just don't need your share. That's totally fine. If you think that we shouldn't have this place.
Why would I think that?
I'm kidding, and I flick him the extra 14th coin.
This guy!
You have the master key, you deserve this gold.
Well, thank you.
Jix wants to go back to the other workbench where all the alchemical stuff is.
Okay.
And he wants to start kind of just looking around, seeing if he can identify anything on the table. He wants to look through scrolls. He wants to just see whatever it is he can discover.
All right. You spend some time, Jix, quite some time, so we'll have you busy here for a while. And the end result is you easily find the cabinet that is right next to this workshop mounted, just a small, almost like a medicine cabinet, but made of wood. You open it up and a potion rolls out and falls into your hand. There are 5 potions that are inside this particular cabinet. You identify 1, 2, 3. You identify all 5 of these potions, as you are an expert at this kind of stuff. You have found a potion of moderate antidote, and I'm dropping this into the group section. You have found 2 elixirs of life, lesser. And you have found 2 healing potions, moderate, which are larger heals than the ones we just, than the lesser elixirs you guys are used to.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Oh, this is cool.
Jix, for now, just puts them in his bag.
All right, you're still looking at some other stuff, and you're going to be there for a little bit. What else are you guys doing?
You said there's places we haven't been yet?
Yeah, Xander's gonna follow Idrisil downstairs to see the other doors down there.
Yeah, as I'm passing him, I point at the doors. And check this out, look.
Down in the kitchen, the stairs go down to the kitchen. There is a big, there's a door that Iggy and Idrisil have come out of to the storage room. There's another larger iron door off of the kitchen. There are 2 small little metal plates with latches on the kitchen wall. There are cupboards in the kitchen with food and stuff. There is also a hallway that extends out away from the kitchen.
I'll go through the heavier iron door.
All right, you open that door. It is cold to the touch as soon as you touch the handle. You carefully open the door, and inside is a cold room, which you've heard of before, normally done through nature to keep a room extra cold. This one's magically enhanced, and it has meats hanging from lines that are attached to rings up above. There's some cold fruit storage in there, and it's almost as good as a regular freezer that's inside there.
Gotcha. And the plates with latches?
Oh, on the walls. You open up one of those plates, and it squeaks open, and inside you see there's a small little wall cistern that collects drinking water.
Okay.
small little pool for drinking water. And then the other one you open up, and it is a small little chute that goes down. You can see a little bit of light and can hear the ocean quite clearly through it.
It's a garbage disposal.
Whee! No.
Oh no.
Dick's ride.
Okay.
Who's next?
Xander's gonna try another door that Idris pointed to that wasn't open yet.
Oh, there's a hallway Xander goes to. That's the last way out.
Weren't
Going
there
down
two
the hallway.
small
There were
doors?
two halfling-sized doors.
No, there were 2 panels in the wall, and then there were 2 doors. One's a cold room, one's storage, and then the 2 panels we just
okay.
described.
And,
So, Jix, heading down the hallway?
Yeah.
All right. You head down the hallway. This hallway goes just a short distance. Where is it at? There we go. Would be handy if this was a map, wouldn't it? Just goes a short distance, and the hallway opens up into an arboretum, a small 25 by 25 foot space of stone that has wooden trestles and has vines hanging from it. There is a tree that grows out almost very much like an apple tree, but you don't see any apples on it. There are some windows up above, and I'm sorry, not windows, bars up above that let in air and light from above. And there are 8 doors that are off of this arboretum, and you check those out, and each of those lead to very simple bedrooms. And there have generic furniture in there. There's linens and stuff on there with a generic table. It looks like these rooms have never ever been used, but they don't look dusty. They don't look dirty. They just look like someone set them up and never used them. Idrisil, you also exploring around here, you and Iggy, since he's trying to catch up with you and beat you to everything that you're doing, he's falling quick behind. You guys on that hallway, before you get to the arboretum, there's one more little spiral stairs of stone that go up. You guys head up there and you find the last room that you guys can locate here within the Nexus. And this is a master bedroom that is actually a solarium. So it's a nice bedroom with a nice bed, and then above is an angled roof that is made of iron bars and lots of windows that lets in lots of light. Looking through there, you can look up and see above is the conservatory windows. Here it's fancy furniture, fancy arrangements. Everything looks like this has also not been used very much at all. And Iggy, you spot a little book that's located on the nightstand next to the bed.
Are there any markings? Are there any markings on it?
You look on the outside, there are no markings. Did you want to peek inside and read the book?
Uh-huh.
Iggy opens it up, and it is your kind of book because it is blank. It's just blank from one end to the other, except the front page has some writing scribbled in it, and you are having trouble making sense of most of the words. They're rather large words.
Okay. I'll just hold on to it for now. You're right there.
Do you want me to take a look at it?
I'll hand it over to you. Yeah.
I'll take a crack at reading the book.
All right, you read the little book. It looks to be some small diary that was just barely used. There is a note on the front page that was scribbled in there that reads, "The Nexus is exactly as I envisioned, secure and away from the rest of the world. I've been here just one night, and already this is my home. I imagine spending more time upstairs than here, as there is so much interesting work for me to do. I have crafted this place straight out of the waves of the creation abyss below. No mean feat, if I dare to gloat. However, I must be cautious with the waves. While the clouds bring drinkable water, the creation abyss is made of incredible raw energy. While I have harnessed this ocean to create the Nexus, a section of towers, part of my early build, fell into ruin. Anything that went beneath the waves was torn apart, rendered into its component elements, and spread back into the abyss. The Nexus is safe and secure, but I must always show respect to the chaotic energy below.
Okay. I'll close the book and give a weary, that's weird magic kind of look to Iggy.
All right.
Is there anything in this room? So you said the window above goes into the conservatory? So I can see them kind of walking around?
The window above goes to the outside, and then you can look up and see the exterior window above of the one side of the conservatory.
Oh, okay.
That's what they saw earlier looking down.
Right, okay.
Jix,
Cool, okay.
you have finished you finished surveying the workshop desk. You have identified 3 scrolls that you have found within this desk as well, and these are 3 alchemical formulas. I will drop these into the party sheet. It is the moderate antidote formula. It is a formula called the Sea Touch Elixir. And it is, where is it at? It is a formula called Silver Tongue Mutagen.
Oh, okay.
And if you spend some time tonight during your daily preparations for the next day, you can make those part of your repertoire.
Excellent.
In addition, you realize this is a fine alchemical workshop, and if you spend time here and wake up in the morning as part of your daily preparations, you will gain a bonus of +2 to attack or an alchemical DC for 1 quick alchemy batch.
+2 to
Essentially,
attack.
yeah, think of it like you gain a token that you can use once per day if you start here, and it's a fine quality reagent that you've concocted, and that gives you a +2 only if you use quick alchemy.
Okay, got it.
Great. What else would you guys like to do?
Wow!
This place is great.
It's so huge! So who's getting the bedroom? Is that me?
Which one?
Upstairs!
Yeah, there's two nice bedrooms and a bunch of regular ones.
You can have the upstairs bedroom, Simon. That's fine. I'll take any bedroom downstairs.
Woo!
I didn't tell him about the master bedroom. Interesting.
Okay, so we have
He needs a spreadsheet. Can we invent the spreadsheet real fast?
we've never had anything like this. You guys, we can keep things here. We can come back to this place. This is amazing. I don't even know where it goes to. All I know is Mearscon and the swamp. I want to find out what else it can do, where we can go.
Most people would call a place like this home.
It's not what? But Edlin home is home, isn't
What
it?
you were describing, that we keep stuff here. We can come back here anytime we want it. We're safe. I think this is a place we could call home.
But is it really ours? Like Xander said earlier.
Just so on that note, oh, go ahead, Seth.
Antorius left it to the brother. Why are we here? Why were we allowed in?
Yes.
Idris is going to go outside and test his key.
All right. Idrisil, you step outside the main door into the Nexus. The door opens up. There is rain. You see the top 3rd story attic roof of the boarding house. It's slick. and you take one step out of open space as far as anyone who might be looking, which is no one, and you step onto the roof, onto those little metal plank slatted things. You turn around and you close the door. And as you close the door, the wooden door closes, and as it does, the reality of around it, that little tear thing that happened when you open, you see it kind of close in, almost like water rising over us, an uneven surface, and it closes around. You stand there, rain's coming down, you look around at the absurdity of this situation, and then you extend your key and it finds an opening, and the opening cracks open in reality. There's a door there, and you're able to step inside.
At some point, I know we have a lot to do, and I know it was a long time ago, but it's safe to assume that Antori left here using that same portal you guys used. We might try to find them.
In the letter, he was stating that his time was ended. He seemed that he was planning on moving on from this world. I imagine he has done so and left this place for his brother, who has never come or come and gone and made no changes.
Well, if his brother got here, how did we find that key back in that temple in the pit?
That is true. So that would not make sense. And his brother's never found it and never been here, and whatever time frame he thought he was going to make, it has not happened. Yeah, I'd say unless his brother shows up to claim this, then it is ours.
I agree with Sildren. Surely we would have, if Antoria was trying to leave this with a friend or a brother of his, he would have left the master key here, as Sildren suggested, instead of hiding the key away behind monsters and mayhem.
Well, his brother couldn't have gotten in without the key. If the key was in here, the Nexus would be lost.
Yep. But his brother never showed up, so why
not make a copy key for his brother and leave that instead of the master key?
Leave it where?
Anywhere but the bottom of a pit. It makes no sense to me.
If his brother's following the same clues that we were following, that's where he would go to find it.
And I'm not keen to leave a key to this secure area laying around for others to find. I would say the brother is gone and is never going to come for it. It is, by extension, unless he shows up and we find out about him, I see no reason not to at least utilize this place to whatever good we can.
Then let's utilize it. Who's still holding the key of Nakor? The Nakor vault key. Anybody? It's the blue one that's missing.
I think Sildren has it.
Sildren or Brenros, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't have it.
He's got a keychain like a janitor. What do you need? Let's see.
Yeah, I think Sildren may have it then. He'll produce it.
All right.
And actually, can I see that black key as well? I have a thought to that.
Yeah, I'll hand that over.
All right. There's a crap ton of keys going on in this.
So Sildren will go over to where the black key was hung, the door where the black key was at.
Okay.
Close that door.
All right.
Insert the black key
into the door.
Yeah, I mean, does it have a key lock?
It does not. It had a peg that the key was hanging from.
Okay. And nowhere on this door or in the general area looks like there's anything that key would slot into.
Correct.
Okay. I'll come back and hand the black key back to Indersell and be like,
all right.
Mind.
Does that key maybe fit the books that are locked up? I don't know if you guys have looked at those, but there's 2 books that are locked up that should
the big
remain
brain on
locked.
Iggy, yeah.
I've been trying to open them this whole time.
His teeth are bloody.
Yeah, Sildren will take the black key over and see if one of them opens it.
All right. There's 2 locks here. You jab the black key, you said?
Yeah.
You jab the black key into one, and it unlocks the lock of the book, and then the key fades away into dust and falls dust-like to the ground, gone.
Shit.
Uh-oh.
Xander, I think you broke it.
I didn't.
Which of the 2 books did you unlock?
Yeah, which?
Let me see where these books are. Where did I?
Elder Sphere or the Westel?
Celestial.
There were the other unlocked books, though.
It
One was
really,
Southern Varen.
really matters. This is a very important.
Probably does. That's the scary part.
Roll a 20. Just
Elder Sphere.
Elder Sphere has been unlocked. Brenros, to answer your question, there are chains that are not locked around the book labeled Eastern Varen. There's no lock around the book labeled Northern Varen. Now there is no lock for the book labeled Elder Sphere. There is still a lock for the book named Illistel, and then there is another set of chains that is open and has no lock. Then no book.
Do we want to attempt to unlock the Illistel book with the red key that we have remaining?
Illistel.
There's a reason there's locks on them.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, does that ring a bell, like either Elder Sphere or Illistel to Sildren at all?
The Elder Sphere, it was mentioned as having some part to do with the artifact of the exiled blade. Brenros just chatters this out in the back while he's...
While he's what?
While he's just milling about, like he's looking around the room, and while they're saying, what is the Elder Sphere? And then he's just like, blah, 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 blah.
Just ranting into himself. Wait, what did you say? What did you just say?
You mentioned the Elder Sphere.
Yes, it says that on the book. What did you say about it?
There was knowledge that was passed to us about this being from the feathered sage, the exiled blade, powerful artifact that he was finding at that time. Oh, look, another book. Read it!
Reading is fundamental.
I can go twice as high. Take a look.
You're in a book.
You're in a book.
Reading hell. Oh.
Ignal wants to go down to the kitchen and see if there's like a tap or some sort of alcoholic beverage nook.
All right. Iggy is on a hunt. Brenros, in your milling about, you have spent some time at the other desk that is the writing desk. I wanted to mention a quick note that you see there is a book that has been partially through the binding process that is completely blank. It just looks like someone never finished crafting the core book itself. There's no writing, just the binding of it. Also in this writing desk, you found 3 scrolls that look to be of magical writing in nature. You cannot discern what they are. And you find another note written here in the same penmanship as the other notes you have found around this place. This note reads the following. It appears to be instructions regarding keys again. And it reads, if any of the slave keys are lost, you may hold your Nexus key in your hands and speak the word lock to remove all slave keys anywhere in the world. Should you ever lose the Nexus key, you may speak the word return 3 times, and a new Nexus key will be reforged and in your presence shortly. And when the time comes that you decide to leave the Nexus behind, choose the new owner of the Nexus wisely, but know that there are risks in doing this. Pass the key on to another good soul, Speak the word gift, and the next person to use the Nexus will be its new master. Failure to plan for this will result in the key fading from all of time and the Nexus being lost forever.
Is there an address we send this warranty card into?
Is that for everybody? Do we all get that?
Brenro says it aloud.
All right.
Oh, I just happened to find this here. This writing seems to be about the keys, and some other writings here. I'm sure they're not meant for me. I'm leaving them here on the table. They're bound. They're very pretty. They look like finished works, but I don't think I should touch them.
What are you
He leaves
scared
the
of?
scrolls on the table. The
All right.
scrolls. I can't really discern much of them.
We should have looked at this note on the writing desk like 30 minutes ago.
Well, it's been here the whole time.
Answer so many questions. And Xander suddenly has like this weight of guilt and a little bit of concern that he may have had a distant relative that he kept putting off, and just kind of like has this like relief of like, okay, I wasn't lied to my entire life. That's good.
You do that, and you give a little crisp high five to Iggy, who comes up the stairs, but Iggy does it half-heartedly as he looks very sad as he comes back up.
What's the matter, buddy?
Iggy is not paying you any attention whatsoever as he walks through the room and is not doing anything or listening to anyone that's happening in the adventure. And Iggy takes 17 points of damage and finds 3,000. Hello, Seth. Seth, are you joining us?
I was writing down the stuff for writing down the letters.
All right.
Shit to
All right.
Sorry, go ahead.
You were dead. That's what we were saying. No,
Hopefully
you found-
my beer intake.
no, you found nothing. You came up sad and depressed. You found nothing.
Well, the Pornhub logo is backwards in your glasses.
Yeah, these notes. Yeah.
Can I take a look at those scrolls?
They're right here. Please.
You look at the scrolls. You need to spend some time. Xander goes off and spends some time with the scrolls. Xander, you easily identify these scrolls as magical scrolls. Magical scrolls. You're able to identify, I said 3, right? Where are they?
Yeah.
They are Scroll of Stone Skin, a Scroll of Stinking Cloud, and a Scroll of Fireball.
Ooh.
That one looks particularly dangerous.
I am dropping them into the party group. The Scroll of Stone Skin and Fireball, I believe, are both primal, so either you or Sildren can use them because they're from your School of Magic. However, Stinking Cloud also is primal. Yeah, you're good. You can use all of them.
Neat. Hey, Sildren, do you want to have this scroll of fireball and see how awesome it is?
Oh my God, yes. Gimme. And I start reading it immediately.
All right.
I've been waiting to do this.
That's just what we need.
I'm waiting to see it. I want to see it. I want to see dueling fireballs. I want to see how that goes.
No, I will take it and
Like it.
put it away.
All right, you can pull them off the party inventory. Xander, you spent about a good hour, and you were able to help identify several different items the group has found. In particular, you ask Idrisil for the badge off of his cloak,
Was
and
about to.
you are able to identify it as a magical item called a diplomat's badge. This is an item that's worn. It lasts forever. And it gives you a permanent +1 bonus to diplomacy skill rolls.
Ooh.
And in addition, once per day, you can make a recall knowledge about a non-human ancestry or a group of people, you know, like elves or Navarian people. And if you get a successful recall knowledge about that, you get a +2 additional bonus to diplomacy checks with this item.
Fancy.
Wow.
You were also able to identify another item, and Sir Brenros produces, I think it was Sir Brenros? Yes, he finally produces the red key from his groin area in his pouch. And it's a little disorienting when the gnome is just going, no, 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 going around you, coming around. It's right there!
Yes, it is.
My magical athletic support +2. And you are able to identify after spending some time with this Xander. It is a magical item called a skeleton key. This is a permanent item that can be used in place of thieves' tools, so it doesn't look like you have sneaky looking thieves' tools. It just looks like you have a key. And it gives you a +1 bonus to an attempt to pick a lock. And one more thing. Once per day, you can use it and say its command word and get a +2 bonus as though you cast the knock spell, which helps you unlock doors. So it's very good at unlocking doors. It's not 100%, but it's very good.
Jix rolled a jealousy of 17.
Okay. And finally, if that's not enough, you identified one more item, and that was the weird marble that I think Idrisil had. Is that right?
I have it in my hand.
And
well, I guess
you have
I
it.
give it to Xander, but I'm like,
oh yeah, you're right there. And you are not able
keep the badge.
to
Keep the badge.
you're not able to identify that one, unfortunately, Xander.
Sildren able to?
Let me make a quick roll. I have your skills. You are possible. Sildren critically identifies this very easily.
Nice.
Sildren grabs this and just has this big smile go across his face. As this is the most powerful item the group has encountered so far in our campaign. It's very simple. It's considered a permanent invested item, but I consider it a consumable. So think about that. It's a consumable item. That's the most powerful thing.
Want to rethink that eating it there, Sildren?
I'm good.
Consumable. It's way down.
All right, what this is it is a mysterious, intricately cut stone that is magical in nature, and it is known as a Aeon stone. And it is used to go around it floats around your head very slowly, which can be seen in some magical circles as a sign of prominence and importance. And it can do one function. And the function of this stone is that whenever you would die from the dying condition, the stone activates, turns to an inert stone, no longer useful, and reduces your dying level down 1 step so that you don't die. So instead of, what did we do, dying 5, it would stop the dying 5, take you right back to dying 4 to give you 1 more shot at life.
Wow.
And finally, if you happen to not just have it slowly floating around your head, which might attract thieves, let's say, and you happen to be the rare wielder of an item called, I see Chris smiling already, the Aeon Watch. The Aeon Watch can contain the stone secretly, and if it is within the stone, you gain the benefit of a first level heal spell once per day to cast out of it as well.
Oh, I know what this is. And Sildren will open up his watch and like pop it in. It's like it is literally built for this. And close the watch and like kind of subtly kind of like wander away with it.
Wearable
That's
tech.
awesome.
Yeah.
Idrisil, how good are you at thievery?
Not as good as me.
Not as good as Jex, but
I don't think anybody's as good as Jix. Jix, you should get the skeleton key. This is gonna
Really?
for opening doors. Other than this, I've got a Nexus key to open any kind of door. This will open everything else.
Okay.
And then maybe pass your tools on to Idrisil, because I don't think he has thieves' tools.
is it a one-time use, the key?
No.
Okay. Yeah. Let's do that.
Okay.
If you don't mind.
If we diversify, we'll all have different skills.
Speaking of diversify, damn.
So
No. What's your diplomacy? I'm not trying to take it, but I just want to know.
Oh, sure. Yeah, no. As it is right now, it's a 14.
Oh yeah. That'll come in great use.
I think Jix's thieves' tools are not in his inventory.
They're part of you.
They're in my
They're
skin.
like what is it called? Like hunted shot is a fixed thing. Thieves' tools are part of your repertoire.
I'll have to look at that later, but we'll get them to you.
Go. Have a look at thieves' tools.
I've got one dropped into the group party. There you go.
For the as far as the placement of the hometown of Sarvid, where in the general vicinity of Varen would that be? As far as eastern, northern, so forth.
Yeah, I'm going to bring up my map to give you accurate thing. It is to the south, in the kingdom of Thave. And I think I've got a map somewhere. Here we go. The town of Sarvid is there in the kingdom of Thave. So you guys are on the western side of your kingdom of Navarre. South of that is the kingdom of Thave. Sarvid is kind of one of the most northern towns of the kingdom to the south.
Hey guys, where is the king right now?
Don't know.
No one knows.
Just a thought, a way to use these portals is if we can find the king and we can get him in close to one of the portals from the other side, we can easily bring him and his men in through the Nexus and get him directly into the city safely. If and when that would be beneficial. Just something to ponder.
That's a great idea.
Jix?
Yeah, it's a really good idea.
There is also the issue of the chalice. And Brenrose thumps down the book of Southern Varen onto the pedestal.
I'm not the one to answer this by reading, but are there different portals for different, like you guys read one page of Southern, but are there different portals in the Southern area? Like if you go to different pages?
We didn't try it, but we can.
Jix has been trying to connect the dots. There's an eastern and a northern book chained to the wall, not locked but chained. The southern was on the pedestal. There's an eastern and northern chain. There's what seems like in his mind there should be a western book as well, and he's wondering if Antoria took the western book with him and went to southern Varen, and it really just wants to process that and think about why that would happen and wonder if he's still around and why he's still around.
You guys see Jix scratching his head, deep in thought.
Oh, well, I would just assume it's lice, but
I have some ideas around that. So one,
he pops open your thought bubble and climbs inside.
No magic. So on the workshop, there's a book over there that's completely blank. Maybe been used for Western Varen, but we are in Mearscon.
Which is in Western Varen.
Actually, that's not true. Technically, we're in the Nexus. The Nexus has it.
We understand. We understand what you're trying to say.
But maybe he took it so that he could get back here from somewhere else that doesn't have one of those podium things that we found.
There's no spot on the wall. There's
an empty one.
Yes, for the Southern Varen. If we put that in there, Ta-da!
Hmm.
5 books, 5 spaces. Easy peasy.
Is there a map of Varen and or distinct maps of each region, southern, western, northern, anywhere in the
I've been
observatory?
looking.
Yeah, Brenrose says, no, I've been looking forever. There are none.
No.
That blank book on the desk, does that look the same as the rest of the eastern and northern?
Yes.
Okay.
Southern will flip through the southern Moran book, and without really kind of like speed reading, so hopefully not enough to
Maybe
pick
take
up
it
a
off
portal.
Maybe take it off the pedestal.
Sildren is banished in pieces. To
Yeah,
That'll teach you to speed read.
just
Read
kind
the
of flip
table's
through to see if
contents.
there's different descriptions of different areas, to see if maybe that's like the theory being presented is accurate, that this book will take you to multiple locations in southern Paren.
All right, you start flipping through pages and reading, and you have the book on the pedestal. Is that correct?
I'm going to pick the book up off the pedestal.
All right. It reads like a traveler's guide but it's more natural history and a little bit of culture. You hear references of other things, but you are not pulled into any other location.
But it seems like it is describing different areas with each new section
Correct.
or whatever. Okay. So I guess what Sildren will then be looking for is trying to find the location closest to the chalices, which is, it's not Selwood. I keep wanting to say Selwood. Servide. So any description that reminds him of Servide or relates to it, talking about the
Sure.
Yeah.
The closest you can find is a mention of the town of Kethon, far to the south. That's as far west as you can get, which is still much further from Sarvid than you guys are currently.
Okay, so that would not be a benefit then.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay. I'm going to try this one now. Xander runs over with the Northern Varen book to the
All right.
pedestal and opens it up and starts to read.
Xander, you open it up, you start to read, and Xander disappears. Bunch of shaking heads, guys.
Is there a lensing effect considering the southern book was still on the pedestal and you put the
No, it was the southern one was taken off. Xander, you find yourself reading about a grand island to the north of Varen, surrounded by gorgeous trees and fair winds, and you find yourself suddenly in that spot. Your nostrils are filled with the scent of pine. You are particularly cold and rubbing your arms. It is very cold here, but this area is dry. You look around, this is almost like some of the Scottish hard mountains where you've got green grass, but then you've got those harsh rocks that stick out of it from time to time. It looks like some rugged terrain. You see there is a small obelisk sticking out of the ground that is perfectly intact, and it has the heraldry of Navarre on it. And you can see off in the distance there are some trees. You can see there is an ocean of a couple miles behind you. You can barely see it in some of these hills. And you can also hear, after you're there for a little bit looking around in amazement, you can hear a boom sound. And then a boom. And a boom.
Oh my gosh.
Boom.
Okay. Xander takes his key and points it back over the obelisk.
All right. And Xander reappears, shivering and looking a little nervous.
Where'd you go?
Yeah, we're all just tapping our toes.
What was it?
It was cold. It was an island just like I was reading about. There were rocks and grass, and it was really, really rugged terrain. And there was this, I don't know, this large boom, this hammering sound that was going over and over again from everywhere.
What's the name of the place you were reading about, little buddy?
Northern Varen.
It's just not specific place.
Oh,
You s-
Xander will scroll back through to see if he can see like a chapter title.
All right. You
disappears.
you read the you glance back. I skipped over that part. The writing does describe in particular the glorious Byzrin Empire.
The Byzrin Empire.
Oh.
Hey,
Maybe
Tom,
we
real,
should leave that book alone.
yeah, real quick. You said Kazir is the closest place that I could figure out. Is that correct?
No, Kethon.
Kathon. Okay, thank you.
This is so amazing.
Cannot find Kethon on the map anywhere.
See it either.
It is in Zexa, that forest in the north.
Copy.
some good research you guys got going on there.
It does seem like Idrisil is almost our like land. You seem to know Varen
Scout?
pretty well. Yeah, exactly.
Like a
I find
ranger would
I
do?
find Waldo 9 out of 10 times. Thank you.
Almost as if in my long, mysterious past I might have traveled some of this land.
Indeed.
Okay, I'm gonna start putting stuff in my room.
He goes from
Yeah, now suddenly-
wizard traveler to a kid getting his new house, beating out the other siblings.
Not only that, it's like, I don't think we should. Do you think that he might come back someday for his key? And no, it's mine.
Dibs on the bedroom.
What was that region you mentioned, Tom? That Xander found himself in?
The
Old
Byzrin
Byzrin?
Empire.
Byzrin, okay.
Old Empire.
Old Empire. Okay.
All right, Xander, you're grabbing a room. You're just grabbing one of those 8 rooms down below or something else?
I'm gonna grab the little side office room. The
Right here.
red door.
Yeah.
The one right up here. Yeah.
All right, that looks small and definitely cozy.
Just
Xander-
like me.
Jumping up and down in the bed and happy.
Were there still like clothes in the dresser and stuff in that room?
There was a wardrobe with some clothes, yes.
That's a little weird.
Jix wants to go in there and look at the clothes.
All right. They appear to be plain, not particularly interesting, maybe Jedi-ish with the plain, simple robes, plain colors, like maybe a darker brown with maybe a white undershirt type vibe. They are normal, medium size, human, elven size, and they are almost uniform in color. They're just almost like Albert Einstein, slight variations. Nothing jumps out at you. And there's no magic on them.
I already checked. Xander will start actually kind of shifting things around and finding stuff to store.
Okay.
Anything, and he, screaming outside of the door, anything that we want to secure in case we happen to get jumped for something, we should leave it here. Like the Nakor key or other stuff. If you guys don't want to carry it with you, just say it, okay?
Good idea, buddy.
Yeah, and Idrisil is just continuing the conversation about Phaon with Sildren and then anybody else who's there. So we don't know where he is, but we know he's returning soon. We should check up on that letter we sent the senator.
Indeed. And then if we can also, we need to get to these chalices, the final chalice.
Where was it again?
Savid?
Okay, Sardi, that's good. I know where that is. And there was some person that the gentleman in the manor, Yandamore, told us we should find and seek out. Who was that person? It was a woman, I believe. On the way to find the chalice, we might venture out and seek her as well.
Lady Tomodrin.
Yes.
She is the one that holds some sort of power over, like basically she's held the king's vote in absentia or something of that nature, from what I understand.
Well, certainly we could use some of her help. I imagine whether or not things go well with that senator.
We have to approach her delicately because she is in a place of power and has very little reason to trust or go with any plot or plan that we might have.
Xander jumps out the door, Kramer style, and shows off his very shiny new diplomat's badge.
Nice, buddy. Good job.
He just goes, "Whoa, I'm out," and slaps money down on the counter.
Oh, my.
I'm just saying we could talk to her. Really nice like.
Indeed. And then we need to get to Sarvid, I believe. It is unfortunate we have not been able to find Raineth. He is somewhere in the city. I would suggest we deal with him before we leave, but we keep adding on more and more things to delay the final chalice, which I do not like.
Not only that,
some of us go after that last chalice, and some of us stay here.
That's
a lot of silence from the group on that, I noticed.
Well, Jix, you know how this box works. You just stay here.
I already rode in that ride.
If we were to separate, then I would certainly have to go with the chalice. Time is advancing quite steadily. I fear we might be running out of it. This presents a wonderful opportunity to find this chalice. The king will certainly make his way, but...
I don't think it's a good idea for Iggy to stay in the city among any of us.
I agree.
We're not in the city as
All
long
the
as
more
we're
reason
here.
we could...
He can't be made to stay here forever, Jix.
Of course not. There's no ale here.
I say we go find the chalice. Brenrosh is right. We probably don't have much time left. We don't know what kind of evil that chalice might be bringing now.
Perhaps stop by Yandamore and get a proper location on Lady Talmadrin, and stop by her place on our way, or afterwards.
She's just outside the city in the vineyard country.
Yeah.
We should also let him know that we were able to contact the senator. I don't think he even's heard that yet.
Right, so.
Really should invest in homing pigeons.
Idris still wet from all the rain out there, so I say that we stay inside, we have a really good meal, and sleep enough, and then we'll go in the morning.
That's
good plan.
All right.
So
I got one.
Just go downstairs and see what's cooking.
And Sildren will look through every unlocked book that there is without it being on the pedestal.
Okay.
And try to get like a reading on kind of where all these places are.
I would probably do well to read the Northern Vren if you don't mind this evening. There are some spots in that book I would like to check out.
Indeed.
Not travel to, just read.
Very specific checkout.
All right. You guys spend the night. You grab some rooms. Is anyone taking the Solarium master room? Sildren is saying yes. Idrisil.
I'll fight you for it.
I went downstairs first. So.
Yeah.
I thought the master was.
I would like to watch that fight.
No, Xander took the main
Small.
chamber studies. bedroom.
Off the.
Yeah.
Off the
Sildren's actually gonna kind of make himself a little spot in the arboretum.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like kind of out of the way, and first off, when he sees the arboretum, he throws himself down on the ground and starts like rolling around like a dog on the grass. And then finds a spot to, basically he's gonna kind of fashion the kind of like the pine branches or whatever.
cut the tree down. Yeah, I got it.
Not cut the tree down. Really
It's like an orangutan. He's gonna come in and just nuzzle in.
All right, I need Sir Brenrose. Make a society roll for researching that book, unless you have any other lore stuff.
I do have particular lore in the Bizran Empire.
Oh, okay. Make that roll, and that'll get you access to more specific information.
All right. And I do this.
Very cool.
19.
19, not a high roll, but it is a specific skill, so that gives you some more information than normal. You have identified the location that Xander described, and where it's written in the book for Northern Varen, the destination being the Gleaming Isle. This is a huge, a sizable island that's in the north of Varen, that is not too far away from the largest elven city of Ethlien. It is north of three kingdoms that have been pretty much left in ruin. You also know, let's see, the Gleaming Isle has some sort of importance to the elves of Ethlien, but you cannot recall what it is.
Fair enough.
Sildren, what were you doing? You were reading something as well?
Yeah, I'm kind of looking through the other books. Just trying to get. First off, I do approach the Elder Sphere book with some apprehension, but I do look through that as well. So just basically getting kind of general knowledge so that I have some familiarity with each of these locales.
As soon as you pick the Elder Sphere book out of its chains that you unlocked, it throbs and shakes.
Can I put it back in the chains?
You can. You cannot lock it, but you can put it back in the chains.
I just recognized that my eyebrows went really, really high up when I saw that everyone else's face did the same thing. Really high eyebrows.
We have a monster book of monsters.
Yeah, and Elder Sphere and Entropy Sphere sound a lot alike, so I'm just
I was very concerned from season 1.
just gonna put that away.
Okay, you do read the other book, which is Eastern Varen, and you can make a nature roll, please.
Alrighty. Nature. Getting there, almost there. Nature roll 22.
Well, the 22, you're able to identify from the writings. It is describing some part of the Ironlands. This is a dry, deserty, dusty environment to the far east of Varen. It's not named that, but you're able to piece together the description. You're not sure exactly where, but that is where you believe this book references.
Very good.
You guys wake up the next day. You are refreshed.
Got a quick section.
Yes.
It's about the banging that Xander heard. Would Renros be able to identify what that might have been?
Describe the banging one more time for me.
It was the boom, boom, boom when he went to the Northern Brand.
You do not know.
Okay.
All right. It's the next morning. You guys are geared up. Happy?
I think our plan is to sneak out of town, yeah?
Yeah.
Wait, aren't we going to Lord Endemore?
For what?
Give him an update. Get information on Lady Lady Tamaldron, Talmadron, and then head towards her place on our way to Servide.
It makes sense to give him an update. I think we already know where Tamaldron is.
Are we gonna talk to her before we go get the last chalice, or on our way back?
I would say if it's on the way, we go. If it's not, we talk to her when we get back. Would be my thought.
Getting more quests in our quest log right now. It's not exactly
I maxed out 3
smartest move.
Like I said, if she's on the way, perhaps we visit her. If she's not, then I would suggest we delay that until we are returned. But we should visit Yandamore to give him an update, yes.
Jix would have liked to have gone through those 3 scrolls of formulas
Okay.
to get
They're
those.
added to your repertoire.
Thank you.
Done. All right, you guys head out of the Nexus, and you were headed where initially?
To Andamore?
Okay, you guys head out there.
And
yes,
we are traveling incognito. So I would say if we have some sneaky Steves, I believe, maybe have Iggy take one or have one on hand.
They only last like 10 minutes.
Iggy should have one on hand, maybe as a, in a paper bag or something, so that if so that if we are getting
just sipping my
approached,
juice.
so if we get approached by people that we know, like some yellow robes or something like that, we'll give a little cough,
Back a little garbage juice and
yeah, exactly.
All right.
So how many do we want?
I'd say maybe 2, 1 even might be good. Just for Iggy?
They come in pairs. That's the only way I do
2?
it.
One for Iggy for House Vast, one for Jix for House everybody else.
All right.
Off you go.
Okay,
And just making sure before we leave, all of the super scary valuables are here, right? We've locked them up. We're not bringing them with us.
The key to Nikor's vault, I think we should leave here.
It's a good idea.
all
I
right.
agree with that.
There's nothing else that I have that I think needs to be left.
No, Brenneros has been ransacked, so he doesn't have anything anymore.
But was it gently?
No, it's never gentle. It doesn't
All
work
right.
that way.
The key is left behind, and you guys leave the Nexus. It is raining with a slight drizzle only as you step out. The smell of the ocean and the leather and the paper immediately gives way to the more urban, I'll say pleasantly, smells of the city of Mearscon. There's a wagon 3 stories below you that you're kind of stepping over the space of, because you're stepping out of nothing onto the roof with these metal planks. They're a little slippery, but you're fine. You all walk out and are walking across this roof. Thankfully, no one's looking up to see you. You walk along these planks and head towards the Widow's Walk, which is the white railing kind of platform so it's like a flat, long balcony, wide balcony on top of the roof that the planks, the metal planks, I keep calling them, head towards. And as you walk there, you see there are 2 well-dressed men standing in this rain, staring at you.
Up above, like on our level, or down below?
On your level. They are on the Widow's Walk that you're heading towards, that you then have to go through a door to get down into the boarding house itself. They are blocking the path down.
Who went first?
I'm guessing Idrisil. He likes to lead normally.
Yeah.
And Jix, you recognize these guys as men who belong to the magical house Relmar. The rain is falling also around them, as though there is some sort of invisible barrier around each of them.
And how far away? They're like
They're like 30 feet away. You just kind of came around some sort of attic window type thing, and you're walking along these places. You're heading towards the Widow's Walk platform to then go in the door and get down into the boarding house. And they're just standing there with the rain falling around them.
So they watched us come out of the Nexus.
No, they cannot see that.
Oh, okay.
The Nexus, your path goes around different sections of this steepled little roof.
But they have seen us at this point.
On the roof.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
But they know nothing about the Nexus, right? Okay.
Correct.
Okay. Whew.
Guys,
I thought you were saying literally like I opened the door and it's like, oh, hi! And they're just like, so you stepped out a second ago. And
It's like Fifth Element, and they just have a picture of the hallway.
smoke you!
Multipass. Guys, these are some rail marsh goons.
Okay, yeah, so Idrisil's instinctively gonna like put a couple fingers on his bow, but not totally make notice of it or anything.
Yeah, I think there's probably going to be an obvious tensing of the group whenever we see them. Let's.
Does Jix think, looking at them and seeing that the rain is not actually hitting them, does Jix think they're actually here?
Yes, you see the rain hit and go around them as though they have some protective shielding from the rain.
Okay.
Let's go have a conversation with them, as it seems inevitable.
Hi, guys!
Jix says, and we will take our break there, and we'll be back in a couple minutes.
Hey everyone! Did I tell you about that time that I blasted a whole horde of undead with burning hands and totally accidentally almost killed a teammate?
That was me!
Good times! And if you remember that too, please jump over to patreon.com/ingloriousbards and give us gold to help me do it again!
No!
You are standing there on the roof, and those two guys are on the flat balcony type portion that are blocking the way. One of them speaks to you. You guys are kind of almost like a hiking trail, if you will, of planks that are curving around this roof with Idrisil in the lead. It is not a good tactical vantage point to be at. And the one of the men speaks, and he says, "Good morning. My name is Enpator, and we must have a peaceful discussion now."
Good morning. My name is Jix, and we're just heading to the. We're just going to get some breakfast.
You're going to fail any deception roll I ask you to make.
Well, we are technically going for breakfast, so.
He says, "I see you have found it."
The breakfast spot? Yeah, we were there yesterday. They have great lizard and waffles. The mimosas were quite tangy, and the selection of fruit, excellent. I've never had such a variety.
And Idrisil, you recognize this guy. You have encountered him before in your dream.
In a dream of mine, perhaps?
Yes.
So I am immediately going to hunt prey on him.
All right.
Which doesn't really give any signifier or anything like that. I'm just making a note of him. I'd like to...
Except for your red glowing eyes.
Yes. Gosh. What do we want to do here, boys?
Well, let's have a conversation.
Yeah, Idrisil's just going to look exclusively at the one that he recognizes and just say in the rain, "Speak plainly, friend."
I would ask the same of you. You've found it. We've heard over many years it is a place unlike any other in this city. Have the tales held up?
Whatever rumors you might have heard go completely unfounded, to my knowledge.
It's beautiful! It's so amazing! It has different
Oh, you can eat crab legs, chocolate fountain, crepes. What else do you like? They have little fruit tarts.
He ignores the goblin.
Benedicts.
He says, the laws of Lyricale prevent us from taking action or even threatening you to claim the Nexus for ourselves, no matter how long we have waited for it. I trust you do not take anything said here as a threat.
We choose to
That'll depend on you, friend, I think.
You were saying something, Xander?
I was simply saying that we choose to acknowledge that you are not threatening us. Did you have a question we could answer?
Indeed. I will state that an agreement was made long ago with Antoria, the creator of the Nexus, and he promised us this place when he passed. And that is an agreement he has broken, but we are still bound by. I feel it is only fair for you to honor that promise now and relinquish the Nexus key to me.
He hasn't passed. What makes you think that?
I will honor the agreement that Antoria made with you in the following sense. That the day that we pass, the keys can be left to you and the house in the same fashion as when he did.
You see the other guy standing next to him, also in his own little protective sphere, looks a little bit agitated and looks like he's halfway through one action of casting a spell, but the other fellow, Impetor, holds out a hand.
Yeah, it just so sees his hand go up and like to calm his friend, and he makes notice of that and just says, "You seem to not be entirely truthful, Impetor. Sorry."
He says, I speak the truth, as I have with you at all times. And I agree to this. It is not to my liking, but I fear that I have little alternative. And if, Master Gnome, you would swear a pact that upon your natural demise, the Nexus key would then fall into my possession, and bind that pact here in my book of laws, then we will be on our way.
For that, hold on for just a moment. Let us have a quick discussion.
On the roof, in a line on weird little planks, they turn around and kind of get a little closer with rain coming down.
I'm not opposed to what you're stating, Xander, but we should get something for this.
Janet,
what
we don't know
prevents
what's going
them
to-
from just murdering us and making good on this promise?
You did
Well,
say
they're-
natural demise.
He nods.
I still don't trust them entirely.
Yeah.
No.
We could tell
He
these
can't
guys-
even control one of his men, let alone an entire house.
We need to tell these guys to fuck right off.
Well, it's what I was trying to avoid doing. I didn't want to necessarily say it in those ways. That sounds rude.
We can tell them that we have urgent business and we can discuss and negotiate the transference of the Nexus upon our return. And until then, they can suck it.
I'll try that. Xander turns back to Impetor and asks, what is this laws that you were referring to? It sounds different than the laws of Navarre.
It is indeed. Our house follows a strict code of laws that we must abide by at all times. And if you are swearing to this deal, then we will create that as a law within my book. And he pats at his robe at some sort of pocket inside. And then you and I will abide by that law.
So as being a part of the law and within your book, that also makes me a part of House Relnar.
Make a perception roll, Xander.
Oh, that's really low.
Take a hero point, Xander.
I think I'm going to spend a hero point on that.
All right.
Because a 12 is really low. I only rolled a 3. Try again. That's better. 25.
With a 25, you see him look incredibly uncomfortable. His composure, he looks really like he just got bad news delivered. And he says, that would not be the case. There is a process of being a member of House Relnar, and there is a blood connection to the house. That would certainly not be the case. This would simply state what laws and actions we would be able to take if you were to break this deal.
Okay.
And again, in your natural demise, which will be stipulated.
Which will be momentarily.
But how do you know that Antoria is dead?
We have we have found out about the marker. We have reached out to your man, and he points at the ranger in your group.
The marker?
There was a marker found underground within the city.
Yeah. I mean, maybe.
It points to the Nexus. We tried to make a deal with your man, and he passed on it. And now we are at this juncture.
But why would that mean that Antoria is dead? Connect the dots for me. You said you get this Nexus place, if it even exists, when Antoria dies.
Because the marker would not have been created if he was still alive.
Oh.
You are trying to imply that you have not been in the Nexus, or that he has opened the door for you, and we know that is not to be the case.
And
So
you are trying to imply that no harm would come to any of my friends, although now twice you have attacked them in broad daylight.
We have
Or
attacked
sent
no
someone,
one.
or sent an emissary to do it for you.
You are mistaken.
Okay. Everybody just calm down. I have an idea. Fireball ever.
Wait, I have a scroll.
Here's what you just mentioned, that being a part of House Relnar has its own set of rules, and blood is involved, probably being a member of a family of the house. Interestingly enough, same rules apply to the Nexus key. You cannot possess the key without being blood related to Antoria. I happen to be a descendant and a relative of his. I apologize for what he may have told you and for how it may have been shared, but it was very clear. This was intended for me. Thank you for your time and your interest.
The other man, the younger man sitting next to him, says, "Enough lies!" And 2 spells are fired off through this rain before any of you can react. One is blasted at Xander in particular, known as the Liar, and that is a 9 plus 16, a 25 to your armor class.
That will hit.
A ray of cold frost of some strength comes flying through and hits Xander square in the chest for 17 points of cold damage.
Oof!
Then that was the younger guy. Enpator, standing next to him, waves a hand. The rain starts falling down on the younger man, and Enpator lashes out with a big acid arrow that slams into his younger friend and sends, let me double check the attack with a huge bonus, yep, for being right next to him, hits his own friend and sends the younger wizard flying through the air with a massive acid sizzling on him and flying off and falling 3 stories to his death down below.
Ooh, take that, bitch.
Hold!
You seem to have trouble controlling your family.
I have not attacked you, and I have not broken that law. That was unfortunate.
How many unfortunates will we experience during this conversation?
During our friendly negotiation.
I apologize on behalf of that man. I would continue to like to make our deal, and then I will be on my way. Are you in agreement?
No, Xander. No.
Maybe if we can all become members of House Renar and
That is not how that works. As I said, I feel it is only fair, as this was promised to us once before. We should be having it now, and I am agreeing to
Do you have proof of that promise?
Yeah. Under what circumstances was this promise made?
He says, why don't one of you approach? And reaches into his robe and pulls out a small, thick book.
Xander will go ahead and approach.
All right. You do so. He holds open the book before him and to you, and you see words start to appear that are exactly a handwriting, of beautiful handwriting that outlays an agreement that says Antoria, upon passing, agrees to hand over the control and mastery of the Nexus, and it has a signature for Antoria and has a signature for Inpator on it.
And what was it that Antorius received for this deal?
He says, he did it out of his respect for our house. I understand you may not know much of House Relnar, and I take no slight to that. I would expect over time perhaps you will come to share that same respect that Antoria had.
Now then, perhaps over time we'll choose to leave the Nexus to you.
He slams the book shut, puts it in his robe, and says, "Very well," and walks into the boarding house and downstairs.
Well, that went well.
I feel
Probably should have taken care of that problem now.
What's the worst that could happen? Was that the shrug that I just saw?
Are you okay, Xander?
Yes and no. I'm a little conflicted. I feel like yesterday we really found this amazing place and that it belonged to us and that we were supposed to have it. And now it seems like it was promised away, but we know that he could have just given him the key. He could have just gifted it straight to him, but he didn't. He left a marker and he left challenges, and it had to be an elemental mastery that got to it. Now, I saw him throw acid arrow, but I don't know if that was an elemental wizard.
Does Jix know much about the magic of House Relmar?
Make a Mearscon lore roll.
Making such roll. So that's a 13.
All right, with a 13, you know they are a house that deals in magic, and that's all you know.
Okay. And by the way, Iggy, you have a couple things in the party sheet to pick up.
Yeah.
There are better things than standing in the rain debating this, and I doubt the House Romar will be waiting around themselves. They seem eager to possess the Nexus, or at the very least seem very unhappy with the outcome here.
They seem to not have a head on their own shoulders.
But marching through the city at this point in time seems to be our thing to do. Brenros will start regaining the lead and taking us where we need to go.
All right, you guys head down through the boarding house. Pre-moistened, you walk past the guy at the front door who pays you no attention whatsoever, and you walk out, and you guys are out on the streets. Jix, you had something you wanted to say to the poor man?
Jix rings the bell as he walks by. Good morning.
Yeah.
Room bottom floor there, just saying hi.
All right. And you guys are outside the boarding house, and where are you headed?
To what's his name? Andamor's.
Yandamore.
All right.
6 replies for you.
All right, you guys head to Lord Ian.
And for once, we're all going to the same place.
We just can't say his name, so
you guys are on your way there. You're trying to stay to some of the more
do we pass the body of that wizard?
He is not there. No.
Okay.
You look briefly, and he is not there. Good question.
Got some looting to do.
That's all he thinks about. You guys carry on sticking to the back alleys type stuff to stay out of sight of any people. You cross some roads, and you're heading towards the Elderbrook estate where Lord Iendamore, your political contact, lives. On the way there, Idrisil, you spot as you cross a alleyway into a major street and heading towards another alleyway, you spot a little bird and see Yothane flying towards the group and realize Yothane is already on Sildren's shoulder, and see this bird flying towards the group awkwardly, almost out of control, and see it is not a bird, but a small little mini drake type dragon thing about the size of a chicken, fluttering this way and fluttering right and fluttering and making its way in your direction as you guys are crossing this street.
In anger, in typical dragon fashion?
It seems to be barely in control flying. Does not appear to be in an attack mode that you can discern.
Okay. As soon as it gets close enough, I'll falcon call it to my arm, I guess.
All right.
See if it comes.
You hold out your hand and it comes flying right.
You're going to want a glove for that.
It grazes your hand and smacks into the window of a store that you're just walking past with a big thud, hits the ground and turns into a man. It is a man you've never seen before. He looks like he has very little thin hair sticking off. He's wearing a fancy cloak on, and he shakes his head and says, "Damn, that window came out of nowhere," and stands up and looks around. Hold on. Pretend you didn't see that. One moment. And he scurries into an alleyway where you can't see him. And then he comes out. "Behold, it is I, your new friend. I'm so excited to meet you." And he comes over and shakes your hand, Idrisil.
I'm assuming he does that Trump thing, where he takes my hand from me.
He forces it in.
Okay. Who are you? What's going on? Hi.
Of course. I am Zodiev Gomi Lataxia Frundle, but everyone calls me Chamberlain, as in the Chamberlain of the Arcanist Society.
Nice to meet you, Wilt. How you doing?
Well, you don't look nearly as impressed as you should be. I'm kind of a big deal.
I missed a couple of those titles. Could you go over that again for me?
A Chamberlain is what I'm called. Chamberlain of the Arcanist Society. Behold my power! And he holds out his hand, and a small fire slightly rises above his hand. Flame from nothing that does not burn me. Now you see my power.
Yes. Behold my gnome, Xana.
I have a point back!
You're supposed to do the fire thing, Xana.
Oh, sorry. Hi, fire!
Whoa! Impressive! And a cat summoned in front of the druid.
My animal companion.
How can I help you, friend?
It was I who I'm hoping to share in a bit of victory. I'm so excited. It was I who set you on the task to find the stone marker under the amphitheater. And by connection, the Nexus key, and then of course the Nexus itself.
As soon as he says the word Nexus, I lose all smile and everything. I get completely confused. It's like, the what?
Make a deception roll, Idrisil, with a +1.
Okay.
We really don't have a lot of time for this.
Agree.
Deception roll +1. 24.
Yeah. The Nexus, you, of course. I sent you. I sent those Guardians of Navarre. You should be proceeding to heap your gratitude upon me. I'm the one that gifted you this in a way.
The only thing I found in the sewer was a new outfit when I got back out of the sewer.
Your friend, the gnome, the tinkerer, Tumblepot. I passed word to him. He was supposed to tell you about it.
Oh, you know Phineas.
Yes, Phineas.
You can't just come out of the sky and expect me to know what you're talking about, mate.
You haven't heard of Chamberlain before?
He didn't really mention that name.
Oh.
He gave me a long list of things, and I couldn't really remember. But it's nice to meet you.
And it's nice to meet you. What was your name?
I go by Idrisil.
That's way too short of a name.
Well, short and sweet, to the point.
Well, I'm simply here to share in the joy of you getting a hold of the Nexus and keeping it from the hands of House Relmar. Those stupid idiots snubbed me years ago, and now I have returned the rudeness in kind, and I couldn't be happier.
How do you mean you've returned the rudeness?
Well, they, years ago, had no interest in me joining their house, and I didn't take kindly to that. I found employment elsewhere with the Arcana Society. I'm doing well. As I said, I'm kind of a big deal.
They are kind of snooty about that. Oh, it's only blood oaths, your brotherhood and all that. It's kind of weird, isn't it?
Oh, totally. Completely. I completely agree. Idiots. But when I heard about the sewer workers who found this, I decided to set some things in motion and take what was valuable to them away from them, and I'm so happy. So I'm here to warn you, you may expect a visit from them soon. They won't be pleased that the Nexus has been coveted for so long, and it's now in hands of someone else.
Chamberlain, I could not thank you enough for that amazing, heartfelt warning.
Timely.
You've just given me timely warning.
Good.
So why didn't you get the Nexus key yourself?
I don't have an interest in that. I've got my work with the Arcana Society, and I don't want to be dealing with any finding of Nexus keys and any dangers with that. Heck, I heard there was some strange sentry that was guarding the stone marker. I can't imagine what else has been involved in your efforts to find it.
We really don't have time for this.
Agreed.
It just keeps hitting the button and just like, yeah, tell me about your sister who's lost.
You guys are in the back just like getting a little louder every time.
So yeah, Idrisil will just kind of give him okay, so maybe we could arrange something at Tumblepots later this evening, tomorrow perhaps. We're kind of busy right now, as you can see. We need to
couple weeks from now, maybe. We got some things to do.
We have to get going on a side quest, if you will.
Sure, yes, reach out to Tumblepot.
Is it a side quest? It might be our main quest.
It could be the main quest. We're kind of in the middle of figuring out which is which right now, so.
Can I join the Arcana Society?
You can certainly apply. It's certainly easier than House Relmar. I'll guarantee you that. But yes, I'd love some company. We should definitely meet. You can find me at our society or Tumblepot, per you mentioned. I think that would be excellent.
We'll look for you at Tumblepots.
Nice chatting.
Wonderful.
Take care.
Yes. Oh, wait. There's one more thing. I know a secret. One more nail in the coffin for Relmar.
All right. Nail in the coffin.
He gets a little quieter and looks around in the rain, making sure no one else is watching on this street. Those wizards are always in some sort of disagreement about some stupid matter or another. You know, stupid wizard things. They've got two different leaders that are always in some sort of endless debate. And this is the reason for them always arguing in their rules is because long ago, the creator of the Nexus, a man whose name I can't recall, he agreed at some point after his passing, the Nexus would belong to House Relmar. In exchange, he required something, and that was that he would be given a seat at the table of house business to keep those wizards somewhat in line. He never stipulated when the Nexus would fall into their hands after his demise, so now it belongs to you, which means the most stringent group of annoying wizards who I've ever met must follow their laws at all costs, must honor their law of the Nexus, whereby you, whoever has the Nexus key, now have a say in matters where House Relmar cannot come to an agreement.
Eth, help us.
What?
I know! What a delightful wicked day! I've been hoping something like this would come along for a year now, and it's finally here!
Wicked day indeed.
You guys!
You said for a year
Fenris and
now?
Iggy are just down the street.
A year? Since when? What happened a year ago?
That's when they turned me down. But you now have the key. You have the Nexus, and you have an ability to be a tiebreaker there. I don't know. Do whatever you want. Cause whatever trouble you want. The more, the better. And he shakes your hand and shakes your hand and shakes your hand and shakes your and shakes your hand. Shakes all your hands.
Been enlightening and pleasant running into you, sir.
So
Well,
nice meeting you, Chamberlain.
Yes, and I won't keep you any longer. Thank you so much, and I hope we do meet again. Drake! And he pulls into a little itty-bitty Drake, slams into a window, and turns back into a guy. Straightens up, and then just walks down the road.
That's an interesting bit of information.
That's also a very irritating man.
True. Well, Xander, it looks like you have a seat at the table of House Relmar.
That's what I was going to ask him for anyway. We've already got it. Good thing we didn't have to sign any laws in that book, huh?
I'm sure we will.
Why do you think Relmar wants the Nexus so bad? Is there something we haven't discovered about it yet?
I mean,
there's got to be something we've not discovered about it yet.
It doesn't seem. I mean, it's great for us. It's great. A living space, a great place to get out of this city. But why would a powerful house of this city need something like that?
That
can teleport
those
you
teleportation
anywhere.
books by themselves have they're invaluable.
You think a house of great wizards can't teleport themselves?
I did mention the
Nexus was made.
Books. Don't forget the powerful artifacts.
That's a good point,
reside in those realms.
Brenros.
The Nexus was made out of power itself. Antonia harnessed that entire ocean of power to make the Nexus. If Relmar thought they could harness that same power, it'd be unstoppable.
The ability to be hidden from their enemies as well as transporting anywhere on the planet could be quite useful to a house so dangerous.
Yeah, I think all of those.
So something
Let's
more
move on.
something more to think about in our travels. Let's get out of Mearscon. And Sildren will start heading towards we're still heading towards
Yandamore?
Yandamore.
All right. You guys head to Lord Iandamore's Elderbrook estate, his nice estate. You are there and knock upon the door. His manservant opens the door and says, "Yes."
Josh, hi.
"Hello."
We're back.
We'd like to see Lord Yendamore, please.
One moment.
Thank you, Chumley.
He closes the door, leaves you out in the rain. You stand there for a bit.
Sildren will try the door. Is it unlocked?
It is unlocked.
He'll open it up and go inside and start to dry off.
Would you mind waiting out? And
Yes, I would.
Lord Iandamore appears. And he says, "Gentlemen, oh, it is so good to see you. Please come in. Chumley, get them in and get them some dry clothes. What a mess. Come in, come in. It's good to see you, my friends."
Lord Endemore, it's been too long.
It is, definitely. I'm so glad you're here. Some things have changed of late, and I was hoping to chat with you. I had almost feared the worst, as I haven't seen you in some time. You were supposed to be staying here.
We've had several offers to stay in different places, including House Summerall, which has been very nice. We wanted to update you, and we're here for only a very brief visit.
Here, come into the meeting room, so we are out of Chumley's earshot. And he takes you into his meeting room. Warm towels are brought, some wine and some cheese, and Chumley leaves, and the door is closed.
Chumley's earshot is only 5 feet. So.
Yes, so we were able to get a message to Senator Grier, like we spoke about the last time.
Yes.
We go ahead, Soder. I don't want to take it from you. You know what happened?
We got a message to him, and that just like he said, that the wolf is returning.
Well, apparently this message did some good. As recently, the Senator Grier has just called for a special session of the Senate regarding growing rumors of King Phaon being alive and well. This is a massive turn of events. We will have officially the name of the king brought up in the halls of the Senate after 20 years. The people will hear about their king from the mouths of their own senators. You've started this. This is amazing.
And we'd like it to keep going. So we also needed to get your a little information from you again about Lady Telmadrin.
What specifically?
We need to know how to get to where she is, and what would be, in your opinion, the best way to be ingratiated by her.
Well, he gives you the directions, which are exactly what Brenrose says them out loud along with him.
To the left,
to the vineyard outside of the city. It's about half a day to the east of Mearscon. He says, Lady Telmadrin, well, first of all, I would keep my name out of it. She has not responded well the last year or two with some of my pushiness about me trying to find where her loyalty lies. She loves the finer things in life. She is a widow. She enjoys good company. She enjoys the company of young, fit men. She enjoys horseback riding, fine food, fine wine, games. That's how she spends her time. I only see her from a few times a year when she comes in for a Senate vote of some importance, where she always abstains as the voice of the lineage of the Phaon name.
Thank you.
So that means you will be heading there soon.
Yes, we have a business in Servide, but we plan on making a trip to her as well. We need to let everyone know that Phaon is returning.
That's a Excellent idea. I would strongly suggest that. Approach her delicately, but she would be an incredibly important ally. I have just recently sent out 2 messengers, 2 of the wolves here in Mearscon, to see if they can locate King Phaon and bring him here. Things are now in motion. Your arrival in town has agitated our enemies and disrupted their plans. This is things are happening.
Yendamar, exactly. You said it's been 20 years since King Phaon was here.
A long 20 years.
Exactly 20 years.
I don't believe so. Maybe a bit shy. Why do you ask?
Not quite 20 years. Xander.
Yeah.
What was the date on that letter that we found yesterday?
It was just over 20 years ago.
Just over 20 years ago.
Yes?
Seems too coincidental. Even though the dates might not be exact. Seems like something might be connected between some things we know.
I have a quick question for you, Lord Endemore. Because Jix is rambling, do you know anything about Antoria?
I recall the name, but I don't know from where. Is he someone I should speak to about what's happening?
I'm afraid he's deceased, but he was a very, very powerful wizard or sorcerer who is, we've learned much about from House Relnar, as well as the Arcana Society, and he had what was called a nexus. Interestingly enough, he left the nexus to us. And we are now the keepers of it. However, he left it about 20 years ago. And that's what Jix is saying, is that when Antoria was gone at the end of his life, was also the time that Phaon had disappeared. We were wondering if you may know the connection. Did I get that about right, Jix?
I mean, that's what I was trying to say cryptically, because I don't know if, everyone knows everything.
I don't like being cryptic.
I must admit, in all due fairness, I don't have a clear answer for where the king has been all these years, other than a important quest, as has been reported. Perhaps you could visit this Nexus place and see if he's been there all this time.
Maybe. Nobody really knows where it's at, so it's like a needle in a haystack to find it, probably.
Yandamore,
yes.
How many wolves reside in the city, to your knowledge?
I would have to defer to Dever when I see him next, but our ranks are low. I would say less than a dozen, perhaps less than half a dozen. They have been hunting us down relentlessly for months. The more progress we seem to make, the more they push back. And I understand you're talking about some magical place, and I'm sure that's an interesting tale, but we need to focus on the threat of returning the king, and that threat are our 2 most formidable enemies, House Nakor, with their considerable resources, and Senator Kethad, who presides over the Senate. He is now in a panic. He used to have unwavering control over the Senate, but you have reached out to Grier, and now there is a rift between Kethad and the rest of the Senate. So he's now gathering ranks amongst the senators that are loyal to him, which is still far and away the majority by my count. I spend my days in the political circles trying to be this neutral voice, but they have just now voted to put anyone pretending, he does quotes again, pretending to be King Phaon to death, as well as any allies of such a hoax. They are really pushing this as though this is some sort of deception, but really they're putting out any reason to kill Phaon if he arrives, and again, any of us.
Which we may have a way to get him safely in the city when the time comes. For now, we'll be somewhat circumspect, I'm afraid, of it, but when the time comes, we can discuss how we can get him into the city unseen.
And if we showed up with his banner, there would be no question that he's not fake, but that he is actually King Phaon. Is that right?
That is absolutely true. And I think the will of the people right now is on everyone's mind. That would help our side. I know that Senator Kethad is putting a stop to all tax collection until winter, which is sure to garner him cheers from the masses, as well as throwing a silly competition called the Commoner's Law to brighten the people's mood. He wants to distract them from these rumors of the king, and he has just called his own private meeting between himself and House Nakor.
We have a fun story about that.
What's that, Sir Brenrose?
And what of the guardsmen? The ones who would have the senators back? I don't see any coin going to their pockets. It must be hard to maintain such a thing.
That's my best assumption, is that's why he's having this meeting. I don't have a clear plan, but if there's any way we can create a wedge between Senator Kethad and the money from House Nakor, create a division between them, put them against each other somehow, I don't have an idea. They are too tightly entrenched in keeping the Senate in power through the coin.
What if they don't have any more coin?
We might be able to do something about that.
It's unlikely. I've been trying to think of a plan for quite some time. Nakor has the resources and the power behind that. The senator has the official power. They are a terrible combination.
Is there a way to bring any debts or loans that House Nakor may have to bring them due soon? Because they may not have access to their
We have the key to their vault.
There is that.
Janner doesn't like being
like uncomfortable to see as everyone's talking around at the whole.
I know. Like, I want to give Xander a +2 to diplomacy, but a -10 to deception permanently. He said, yes, that would be a fun treat to get the key to their vaults, but we need something practical.
No, we have their key.
We have the key to their vault. They were apparently sending a messenger down to Azamir to create a copy of it because they were afraid that some person would have too much power. But he was ambushed and killed, not by us, but we were able to recover it off of his dead body. And now it has been secreted away and it is completely secure.
May or may not be damaged, but that's just another matter.
You have the key to the most secure vault in all of Mearscon.
Yes.
Yeah, could you tell us where that is again?
Yeah, is it unguarded, I assume?
It is incredibly guarded. It is one of the most protective places, I think, in all of Mearscon. I'm finding this hard to believe. Brenrose, is this true?
We're full of surprises.
We are the locksmiths of Navarre.
We have a new title.
As the fates and Celine would allow it, it has happened that we have come across the key, as Xander has mentioned.
Yeah. It is just a powder keg that you bring to Mearscon, one that I'm grateful for, but I was not expecting to hear this news. We should ransom the key or something. This is amazing.
No. My thought was just let their resources drain out. By the time Phaon returns, there won't be any money, and if there's no taxes coming in, that means the Senate can't even govern. And by the time Phaon gets here, he will be a boon, a blessing. He'll be welcomed back in because the Senate will have collapsed on top of themselves.
Perhaps there's ways for you to get whatever lenders have given money to Nakor to start to pressure them for the return of their capital.
I like this plan a lot. I'm still stunned by it, but that is a good idea. I have some connections with some of the merchant guilds. I will put some political pressure, maybe something about the rumors of the king, and if there's time, now would be the time for them to collect in case there's any upheaval of any kind. They should collect their money now, putting pressure on the house. I like this.
Perhaps it will bring the house all but down.
Perhaps we could have Devar send ravens, pigeons of any kind, discreetly, of course, to search for Phaon.
I just sent 2 of the wolves in the city to bring Phaon in.
Very good. A wise decision.
Yes, things are happening. He needs to be here and have some say. I know he's been trying to gather momentum his own way outside. I would say continue spreading the word of the Grey Wolf returning without getting caught, because there's now the law in place. Get people connected to his name. I will continue to work within the political circles and work on getting financial pressure against House Nakor. That does bring up a sensitive issue. I'm not sure how to bring this up. You have been absolutely beyond.
Take a page from Xander's book and just out with it.
Beyond expectations. I will do my best. This is a sensitive time. This is a powerful time. We have to be careful. And this seems like an excellent way to affect a house without them even knowing that we are affecting them, which is a very good thing when dealing with a house. So that brings me to, as I have learned from my man Dever, that you also need to get yourself out from under the gaze of House Vass. It has come to my attention that they are certainly looking for what sound like people that match your description. And the last thing we need are those wretched people against us while we are trying to overthrow the Senate.
Is it the kind of infamy that can be purchased away?
Yes, but at a considerable sum. What I have heard is that you have offended one of the younger members of this, some would say, criminal organization. And
Wasn't us. They're mistaken.
I have almost.
Let's stick with allegedly for now, but
18 platinum would certainly not cover it. There appears to be quite a personal offense from what I hear, that this person, and I can't remember his name, has taken quite a bounty out on your heads, or the heads of these people, dear Jix.
How much?
I don't know the name. You'd have to ask him.
In your opinion, what if this so-called person of House Vass was no longer a threat?
Then that would escalate things to their leadership, and then there would be no way to buy your way out. These people are not just criminals. House Vass is known for their dabbling in, how would you describe it, fiends, demons that they summon for some of their more nefarious purposes.
I've seen their works. I am not pleased with it.
They summon demons?
As far as I know, you are dealing with a underling is too minor of a word, but someone who deals more in the criminal enterprises. And if we can keep it there and somehow resolve it, again, I don't have a clear plan for that. But if it gets beyond that, then you're talking about dangerous assassins coming your way and horrific beings sent upon you, not from this world.
Guys, where did we drop that banner off?
That was down
in
at
a
the
warehouse.
Who ran their warehouse?
Long Pier.
Relmar.
Relmar? Or was it Nakor?
Nakor.
There was Nakor.
Yes.
Who have you heard this rumor about House Bash looking for people who may or may not fit or be similar to our descriptions?
That came from my agent, DeVere. You've met him before.
DeVere, right. You should have DeVere go visit a particular warehouse on Long Pier. What was the name of that warehouse?
Hang on.
Matterson Trade Warehouse.
That's the one. Just go see if there's anything there that could be of interest to perhaps House Bash or House Nakor.
All right,
Maybe there's some information that both of them need to know.
So I should send DeVere there to look for this.
Yes.
Or send House Nakor,
Even better.
an agent of House Nakor, to find out what happened to their warehouse. Because there may be some items from House Vass that were incidentally left there.
I have
You
some.
just want to tell them what happened?
Yes! Oh God, yes! Thank you so much. We took the banner that you gave us, Lord Endemore, and we placed it on the Nakoran agent's body, the one that we took the key from. He's wrapped up in the banner of House Vass, the same place that he was assassinated by a bunch of other things and died. There's another Nakor agent who fired on us as well, but he got peppered with arrows because Idrisil's amazing.
Yeah.
What's that?
Is that kid play? What is that?
Yeah. I can say that my connections with Nakor are very limited, but I can certainly find some excuse for them to search that area. Yes, I can manage that.
Sure, there's a bug you can put in someone's ear.
Yes.
Here, this one.
We put the banner there.
No.
We put the banner in its horrible state, with the dead agent of House Nakor, to hopefully give the impression that Vass had actually stolen the key of House Nakor. We're hoping that rumor will continue to create a bunch of strife between the two houses.
And perhaps bring Nakor and Vass to blows.
It certainly is worth exploring. I would also recommend somehow getting this trouble from Vass off of your, from being over your head like a dark cloud.
Well, don't you think something like what we just described might be a good sidetrack for them?
It might be if this was business. I hear this is personal.
I see.
And what would satisfy a personal vendetta?
With House Vass, I think it would be somewhere in the hundreds to perhaps 1,000 in gold to the superiors, who will then demand this criminal who is hunting for you call the dogs off. It could be...
They're not hunting directly for us.
Not yet.
Close enough, I believe.
Yeah. What else? Outside of some sort of magical wish to make the situation go away, I can't think of anything.
But they know money. That
Yes.
would be something of value to them. Well, our lives have some value now. Are we able to cough up enough to spare us all?
No.
Nikor maybe could on our behalf.
What do you suppose would happen if House Vass were in possession of the vault key for House Nikor?
I can't even begin to imagine what that would do. That sounds amazing and horrible at the same time.
Sounds really bad. Really, really bad.
It's not a bad idea.
But it's his leverage to stop. It's just, again, I'm just throwing out an idea here that would buy us perhaps enough capital to get them to leave us alone, to get us from under the eye.
You did say, Lord D'Andamore, that the vault was well guarded.
Yes.
If Vass were to have this key, they would probably make every attempt to try to access this well-guarded vault, spending their own resources and time.
I think they would lose many resources and they would be foolish to do it, but also they might be foolish to succeed.
In my mind, Brenros is figuring warfare tactics in his head. If we traded that for reprieve, dare I say forgiveness for the insult, I find it well matched.
It is a huge gamble on the end result, but I can't say no to such an idea.
Or would having another house have access to this vault and said riches inside this vault better our placement?
It would create an all-out war if they were successful against those two houses. It could also lead to a lot of funds getting into the hands of House Voss and having them rise greatly in power.
That's what I'm saying.
That sounds bad. I
I
don't think
agree.
House Vass should be any more powerful than it is.
There's kind of a balance of powers right now. You could say maybe checks and balance. But allowing the strong arm house to have also nearly unlimited finances just seems
After
like the
they
worst idea
fight
ever.
a grand war in a city, held almost equally by other houses.
But not equally by other houses, Sir Brenros.
Not all, but we are talking that. But you do bring up a good point.
That is true, and there are definitely risks involved. What other ways do we have to get House Vass to forget our existence?
It seems they only know coin. Is there any other way to get that much coin?
I mean, Iggy seems to have an endless supply of it. He may have all that himself.
I do not have thousands.
We could
Coins.
try to open the vault ourselves and get what we need from it.
Well, I don't think that's a good idea at all.
I fear.
If Vass already has us on a bounty and then Nikor would have the same thing, that just sounds like we're dead. Dead several times over dead.
I would rather die trying to save our lives than stay alive, giving more power to House Vass.
Then let us find another path, Jix. How else can we accomplish this? I don't, as enticing as getting into the vault of Nikor is, I can't fathom how we would accomplish that. Though it may be possible.
It
What
would
if-
be practical in my mind.
What if we just stave off these houses? We've done a good job of it so far until the king rises, and then he will have the power to dole out whatever justice needs to be doled out.
It sounds like before long, Iggy, we, more specifically you, will have fiends and devils to deal with that will be hunting you. As it seems, House Vass has some access to these.
Our friend here seems to think that it's just a minor offense by a minor person of this house, and he's the only one trying to find us right now. As much as I would love to take Montre's head, maybe keeping him alive, it's just him and his resources within the house looking for us. We've done a good job of keeping away from those so far, and especially if we leave the city for a while without anyone knowing we've left the city, it could just die down.
I'm okay with leaving the city. I think that's still a good idea.
I believe at some point we will be battling a fiend for it if we don't deal with House Fast now, but there may be no alternative.
And how can you leave the city when the king is coming? The Senate there's division. Things are happening.
As we mentioned, Yandamore, we have to prepare for Lady Talmadrin so that she can make way for the king.
Very well.
And how many mounts can you get a hold of on short notice?
We have some stabled.
Yes, we have.
But how many?
Right, we have horses.
I will never betray entropy.
And but we can still, we may need multiple mounts to get to Savid as quickly as possible and get back in time. The more mounts, the quicker we can go.
A dozen I could arrange rather quickly.
Or again,
Yeah.
3 back.
Pretty sure it's a max speed of about 40, 45 miles.
No, but just in case you guys aren't understanding, if an unladen horse can go farther than a laden horse, and then you switch between the horses,
With two
and then
with the
you can
coconut
get-
and a line.
Yeah.
I know you guys are thinking it.
It is a legitimate way to travel further with horses. The more mounts you have, the faster, the longer you can go in the shorter amount of time.
I'll bring this up again, even though nobody seemed to like the idea. What if only 2 or 3 of us go to get this last chalice, and the rest stay here to welcome the king or do what needs to be done for the king to arrive?
Brenrose has stated his need to go. I believe from what vision I was gifted from Keth, I would wish to go to destroy the chalice.
And we really need to get that banner so that the Senate doesn't start just killing old guys and trying to kill Phaon. We need to let them know that it really is the king. Also, there's the matter of Tavernry that we haven't even talked about.
What about Tavernry?
What's going on with Tavernry?
What happened in Tavernry?
It doesn't look like anything it used to. There's a Renarian Brotherhood up there that's holding a strong-arm over it, and it's terrible. They've enslaved the whole place.
If Theon returns, I think that's one of the things he can deal with when he is in
topple
power.
one regime at a time.
I've got plans. No one listens to that. No.
So, the chalice or the banner?
Or both.
Or both.
Or we get the chalice, get back, and then go after the banner. Why some of us travel to destroy the chalice. Some people stay in the city, and we make it back as quickly as possible. So Brenros, myself, and perhaps one other.
Well,
I
it
say-
seems I'm
I say
part of
he gets out of the
the
city
problem
immediately.
with House Fast.
Unless
Take a
Iggy
while.
stays in the Nexus and stays invisible from these fiends and these other
I'm gonna
creatures.
just hide out the whole time.
Yeah,
I
I'm
might
gonna start
as
a group
well-
laugh as we all laugh at that comment.
I might as well go with you and Brenros and at least be helpful, possibly if it's needed.
I'd feel really bad leaving Ederso behind with Jix and Xander, though.
Not at all. The three of us are going to go to Lady Talmadrin.
Look at Ederson's face.
Just give me that badge and I'll go to Lady Talmadrin.
Here, take some Bright Lotus with you.
Please give me the Bright Lotus. I genuinely will take Bright Lotus and go to Lady Talmadrin. Happily.
Okay, then. We're going to split apart.
All right,
Hold
yeah,
on,
no more
let's
hat in
mark
the middle.
this moment in the campaign.
Yeah,
we
yeah.
can find this moment when it all happened.
There's something to be aware of, though. This is the time. It's going to take time to get there. There's a very good chance that it may not even be there anymore. This is out of character, Brenrose.
I couldn't tell by your voice.
I just want to say, because there's every possibility to take 2-3 people out, and it's a week there, week back. That's a long time between and for transition time. So I'm fine going to retrieve the chalice. I don't think it works time-wise. Period.
My only thing is this: is that Lady Talmadrin is on the way to the chalice. Maybe not the banner, but if she's only at the vineyard, I don't see why we need to split up for that. Or at least, unless we all don't need to be there.
Is the vineyard north or south of Mearscon?
East.
It's like half a day's ride, so
Okay.
it's half a day's ride, so it's pretty much
On the way to Savid, more or less.
on the way to anything.
4 to 6 days out, if I'm correct. Is that right?
And if we have multiple mounts and travel as quick, seriously, how
Use the highway speeds. You make sure we're in the carpool lane the whole time.
Keep your foot off the brake. One bathroom break.
No, Xander, we already stopped. Ah!
here's a bottle.
Here's your Gatorade bottle.
Flask.
So my question really is, who's not going to Lady Talmadrin, and where are you going? Because Lady Talmadrin, as far as I see it, is the next stop on the way to either one of these destinations, because it's only half a day.
Well,
So,
I guess the
Unless
question
you're
is,
not
are we
going-
going to split up and
Yeah.
so, a couple of us go for the chalice while the rest do other things? That's really kind of our first question here.
To be determined after going to Lady Talmadrin. Is that not correct?
well, what I'm saying is, whoever doesn't need to go to Lady Talmadrin can just go to the next destination with their group.
No. You're saying it wrong. Talmadrin.
Oh, so sorry. So sorry. We're reading those books again, Brenrose.
Yes, I know.
But whoever wants to go to either the banner or the chalice, Iggy doesn't necessarily need to be there for Lady Talmadrin, who only cares about the finer, like Iggy's not going to do much.
How dare you?
I would assume.
Dare you?
We have
Well,
to
he
focus
just-
first on getting Iggy out of the town.
Yeah. So
Okay.
for me, the party splits now. That's my assumption. If we split, we split now.
Macking his microphone for
Effect.
infect. Now. Okay. I got it. We all leave.
Done. Period.
Bye, Andamore.
Was there more, Xander?
Oh, sure. No, so let.
He's waiting for these shut up Xanders.
The shut up that never came this time. He doesn't know what to do.
I want to hear the plan first.
They're still listening. Okay, so we all leave. We get out of town. We go to Talmadrin. We all go to Talmadrin, and we'll work on it. So you've got your Bright Lotus. You've got your elfiness. I've got my badge. Like, we can have a really good conversation in time, and we can let her know how important it is. And from there, we'll let her know that we have the final missions for the king to really make it clear. We're gonna go get his banner and go solidify with Sir Brenrose's queen and finish her quest as well and complete the chalices. That way, bringing the two together so that they can be a part of the support. And then we'll tell her that. And it'll be this really, really good conversation. Then we'll go do that. If we have to, we'll split up if we need to. But I think we should all go get the chalice, get the banner, get ourselves back to Mearscon, and welcome Phaon like the champions of the Grey Wolf. Woo!
That would mean we would be gone from this city, though, for quite a while.
And
Yes!
more, do you have any idea where the Grey, I know you're sending people to look for him, but do you have a suspicion of where he is now? A thought?
And how far away?
That is the concern, and that has been the crux of this whole plan. You have been the most recent information I've received about the king, and obviously that is old information. Our best guess is somewhere to the east, or perhaps even northeast, near the Shepherd's Dell or Edlin Home area. We have heard rumors of him being there, or perhaps more east, which I hope not, because it would be further out beyond Tabernary, and then we're looking at 3 or 4, or perhaps a whole month before he arrives. If I have my fingers crossed, and with Soline's blessing, he will be here in 2 weeks, and we can begin, but I just don't know.
If I know something, I think it'll probably be somewhere around when we get to level 10.
Hey, Tom, looking through all of the books, the teleportation books, is there one of the places close to Shepherd's Dell and or I guess east of Tabernary, which would be Authray or whatever the hell it is?
Negative to both.
That would have all been West Navarre, and there's nothing in West Navarre that we could see.
We don't have a book
It's
for
more
West
central Navarre.
No.
In between Shepherd's Dell and the capital city of Iveron, there's not really anything.
Right.
He's a Silver Ranger, everyone!
I was hoping for one of those obelisks where we could bring the king in through the Nexus.
Well, that was Idrisil's thought, is if we are going north, why don't we just take the northern Varan book and kind of look through,
Find out.
the locations and see which ones might be suitable for travel and stuff. But that's why I asked if there was a map in that conservatory, but that moment passed.
So what are we doing, guys?
Oh, I know! We leave! Did you hear any of that?
Yes, you said that, Xana.
I was smashing stuff like a beast.
Mr. Yandamar, sir, thank you for your time.
Of course, I'm so excited about all the news you've brought, and I will do my part as well, and I hope to see you again in good health, and we've moved forward, and perhaps we might have a visitor in town to meet with.
See you when we see you.
All right.
And we head out.
All right, as you head out, he does call out one more thing. He says, Sir Brenrose, a moment, if you would.
Oh, of course.
He pulls you aside and says, a young squire visited the other day. He had heard of a knight from his order. He came from Landbury Home. He was asking about you and said there was some urgent business that needed your attention.
Is this young squire with you now, or did he return to Lansbury?
No, he returned to the Landbury location.
I see. Thank you for bringing it to my attention. It was my hope to go and stop by the home before I left.
Of course. Well, best of luck.
And
What time is it?
It's morning time, 10, 11 in the morning, 10 in the morning. You guys are all outside. It's a little drizzling.
If we go get the horses now, we can be at this lady's place by end of day.
some urgent business has come up, and I may need to stop by my orders home before I leave.
Great. We've all been very interested in visiting. Let's go.
Well, you have to be a man.
Didn't we just say we gotta get out of town?
I just received
Because
word.
demons!
This is important to me. I can meet you later. We can meet up later if you like, but
This is your quest!
no.
This is an episode of Planes,
this
Trains,
is-
and Automobiles.
This is
Yeah.
all.
400 years earlier.
This is all important business.
Go ahead and do my quest. I'll catch up when I can.
So let me ask this: where is Brenrose's guild house or temple or whatever?
It's in Thale, I think, right?
And we're in Thale, right? With Iandamore's.
Iandamore's house?
No.
Yes.
Yeah,
Correct.
let's just
There he
stop
is.
there on the way. Why not?
All right.
Just stand outside while Brenrose does his.
So why not? There's no demons looking for us right now. Or assassins. It's fine.
It's
Let's
close
do what
by.
Brenros wants to
They're
do.
only looking for me, little buddy.
Well, we're doing what Brenrose wants to do anyway. We might as well take a minute and see if the chalice is still there. We don't know what this news
all
could be.
Nice little bow here.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that'll happen.
Yeah, really. Here's 10 other things.
Right.
No, actually, with this, it would allow me to at least make contact with my queen, inform her of our progress, which I've been very lax lately, and I really should express that in the apology.
Well, that is
Great.
important then.
We'll come with you.
No, you all stay. Really, you should be members. Okay, and off we go.
All right, you guys head down a couple streets, still in the nice part of town in the Thale district, and you arrive at a place known as Landberry Home. This is a location for the Knights of the Order of the Vigilant to find rest. The Knights don't have an official order here. They are from another kingdom, but they do have a house that they own here. Sir Brenros, you have been here several times in your occasional diplomatic message delivering adventures here before. You know this place well. It's a Spartan affair. You approach, and it is
Well. Look who we have here. Sir Aldermain Brenrose. Still in Mearscon, I see.
Brenrose, ultimate name.
Don't correct me. Do you really feel that you belong in this house? We already know your shortcomings. We know that you are nothing but a pet, sent about looking for what? Some stupid cups? Our queen sent me here, of course, on exceptionally important business. I'm actually on my way to go meet with the Senate right now. My squire is getting it ready. What on earth are you doing here, and why do you smell so awful?
Sir Kendall, a member of the Order of the Vigilant, is here, much to your surprise.
Much to my surprise. Well, had I known you would be here, I would have greeted you proper. But it seems, per usual, you are without decorum. I do appreciate that you are coming by to check up on the rest of the township. The Queen has you talking to the Senate?
That's correct.
Very interesting.
Very important. Not some silly quest to get me out of the way.
Now, as you know, those silly cups represent some of the highest virtues of our order. The holy ones. The ones you should be upholding. No, I am quite honored to be upholding this simple, silly quest, as you call it. I will, of course, convey your messages when I do speak with the Queen after obtaining the last of the cups. And, oh yes, I'm on the last of the cups.
Well, bully for you.
With all due respect. And Brenros nods and walks by Sir Kendall, was it?
Yes.
Little alpha male like shoulder push on each other.
No, you can't really do that. You still use lodestone in the armor, so you
You'd be connected. You walk past Sir Kendall and his squire mount up on fancy, extremely well-groomed horses and trot off at a beautiful little pace and head off into the even richer part of the city. You walk up to the squire named Edmund. This poor young man is the only person based in Mearscon, and he lives here pretty much by himself until one of you knights who never ever visit, and he sees you approaching, and he is comes up and says, "Sir Brenros, you're here."
Sir Edmund, sorry, excuse me.
I wish.
You have been keeping the property very well.
Oh, thank you. Are you going to be staying for a while?
Not long. Have you been suffering his company for very long? Pointing to Sir Kendall.
I shouldn't say anything poorly about a member of the order.
That'll be just fine. No, I can see in your face he has been here long enough to agitate. All the same, you are doing fine work.
Yes, thank you.
You had some urgent business, and I hope that wasn't it.
No, far from it. I received word recently from the Church of Solene. They had a very pressing business and needed to speak with a knight of the Order of the Vigilant right away. Apparently, this comes from the high priest here in the city in particular. And he needed a knight to come at their earliest convenience since Sir Kendall said he was too busy, and I knew you were in town. I found you.
As far as weighing the outcomes and priorities of things, where did the temple priest sit with the queen? Is it a society that's divided where religion is very high and politics, or is one reign over the other?
The Church of Solene is the official church of your kingdom of Calavier, so they hold quite a bit of sway and power there for certain. Here, you obviously have a lot of respect for the clergy and the priests and priestesses, but they are not part of your kingdom, so there is a little bit of a distance, if that makes any sense. You don't report to them in any kind of way.
Okay. Edmund, did they disclose to you what it is they actually needed? I am on important business. In fact, you're going to be taking a letter here.
Oh, yeah, I can absolutely take a letter. Nothing was given about it other than it came from the high priest himself.
I will be drafting 2 letters then, one to the priests and one for the queen.
All right. Was there a gist of the letters you want to
Gist
give?
of the letters will be that I've acknowledged receipt. This is to the priests that you have requested to see me. Unfortunately, I'm detained with other business of high duties. And can respond at another time unless you are able to tell me what it is you actually need that I can assist with by sending me a return note in some fashion. But I am required elsewhere. That's the gist. Goes a little bit longer, a little bit more frilly, befitting the priest.
Okay.
The
More than
Queen's
240
letter,
characters.
What's that?
More than 240 characters.
More than. And the Queen's letter is lots of frill, but essentially recounting the collection and destruction of the cups thus far, and informing her that the last one is soon to be destroyed, as I'm heading there now.
Edmund takes those letters. I will make sure these are delivered the next time a messaging comes and goes from the city. And I will deliver myself the message to the high priest.
Where is this, the Temple of Selene in Mearscon?
It's just down the road, not far at all. It's the tall building with all the work being done on it.
You wouldn't want to just swing by there, Brenrose, and find out what they wanted on the way? It's on the way out of town.
You suck. You suck. Why, yes, that sounds like a fabulous idea. I should really hand these myself.
You get the letter that says I cannot come.
Send more info, please.
Send more info. We'll need another letter. Well, if we have time, I can stop by there. The colonnade is in the colonnade.
Yes, Colonnade is a very religious part of town. It has that's where the archives of Carahel are that Brenrose has spent some time studying. There are several temples, and including the largest temple of them all, the Church of Selene.
It's not really on the way out of town, though.
Yeah, kind of. I'm really curious what these people want.
There's no entrance or exit along that wall.
If the group is swayed by this, but I've already written the letters to dismiss myself from service here. So if it's
the high priest himself, Brenrose.
High priest, queen. Actually, queen.
Perhaps we can. Maybe what he needs is in Sarvid, for all we know.
Had you told Brenrose of your dream?
Yeah.
What dream to be specific? Just to recall.
That was a dream that Sildren had with, he believes it was Keth in the form of a bear who came to him in a vision. And there were 3 cups at the time. There were still 3 remaining chalices, and then basically blackness started flowing from them, overflowing, and destroyed Sildren's sense of peace. And they, basically said that the darkness was coming.
Then with that, Brenrose will approach Sildren, putting a hand on his shoulder. You have the trust and ear of one of the gods, and it involves the cups. You are in the same quest as I
am,
and you pledged your service to this. I would hear what you have to say. If you believe that we need to diverge to this high priest, I would accept it.
It would take an hour to go speak with him and find what he needs, and if it's, perhaps it's something that is on the way, something that we can do after, at least he will have known that you have heard him and whether he can rely on us or not.
Then with that, Brenrose takes up the second letter of Edmund, or the first one that was drafted to the priest, and will tear it in half.
Oh!
And we'll walk out the door.
Did I do something wrong? Okay, you walk out the door.
This is your fault!
Your penmanship! Demoted to sub-squire. Fun to say, actually. All right, Brenrose, you are heading off to the Church of Selene here in town, is that correct?
Church of Selene, yeah.
By yourself? With others?
Sildren will come.
Okay. The 2 of you head off to the temple. This is the Church of Selene. This is the...
As we're on the way, you seem
yes, go ahead,
edgy
yes,
today, Brenrose. Is everything okay?
An unfortunate emissary has come across her path. Nothing serious, just an uneasy rivalry, if you will. one who doesn't think very highly of the services.
Let's see. You seem just off today, even before the visit to your guild hall. Are you sure you're all right?
It concerns me greatly that so much time is passing when these cups are out there.
Then let us visit. I'm sorry, carry on.
Oh, no, that was it.
Then let us.
No, really, that's it.
Let us visit this temple and then be to Sarvid.
To the temple, then.
All right, you are at the Church of Selene. Selene is the goddess of duty, of responsibility, of loyalty. She is the primary goddess of the kingdom to the east that you're from. She is also the primary goddess, the biggest temple here in Mearscon. You see, you've been here before. There's lots of scaffolding and lots of work being done and tiles being inlaid, and there's engravers, just dozens of people all up on this 40, 50-foot face of the building doing all sorts of amazing work to make it just look phenomenal. And in probably a year or two's time from now, you walk past all that, the two of you do, and you are greeted by some priests who motion you towards where you can pray. You pass on word that you were summoned, and a striking older woman approaches wearing the garbs of a priestess of Selene. And she walks up and with a warm hand takes yours in both of hers and says, "Sir Brenrose, is it? I don't easily forget a night of the Vigilant."
It is an honor to be here.
You may not remember me, but I have seen you here at the church before. You were here several months back, and I believe you even made a sizable donation here just about a week ago.
The donation is inconsequential, but I am glad it would be put to good use.
Well, we are grateful for your duty to your kingdom and the aid you provide Navarre and the honor you provide Goddess Selene. How may I be of service?
I had received a request for summons to the elder priest.
Yes, High Priest Paislin is his name. Yes, come with me. I will take you to him immediately.
May my friend join us?
She turns to the druid and says, "It might be best if you remain here, but they have created a special section for valued guests," and points to an area that's like a theater balcony seating area that overlooks the main prayer area. That's, I don't know, VIP seating and the higher price at Ticketmaster type of a situation.
I mean, no disrespect, priestess, but I have traveled long with my companion, Sir Brenrose, and would choose to remain with him.
She says, "Oh, I completely understand. That would be unacceptable, I'm afraid. And I mean no offense to you in return."
So be it. And Soldern will back off on that.
All right. She escorts you up several flights of stairs. For some reason, I was going to say take an elevator. I don't know why that was in my visual head. No idea why. She takes you up several flights of stairs, asks about some of your travels, but doesn't pry, and takes you to this very expensive waiting room with huge double doors that are ornately carved with images of the goddess Selene. There's some statues just outside. You can see your face in the shininess of the floor. It's been waxed so well. She knocks on the door. It cracks open. She whispers some words to someone inside, and then the doors close. She stands by you and says, It'll just be a moment. You wait patiently. She introduces herself as Sana, S-A-N-A, and again asks about some of your escapades. But some time goes by, and the door opens, and you see a higher-ranking priest is there, and she says, "Please go right in." And she stays behind and heads back downstairs to look in on Sildren, while you are beckoned into the chambers of High Priest Paislin. Inside here, you see there is a huge desk that is way oversized for this room. The room, again, is gorgeous. There are paintings that have frames of silver, and there are tapestries with tassels that look like they're wrapped in gold little filaments. It looks amazing. You see there are about 4 priests of some stature that all nod respectfully and take a position behind the high priest, who sits at his desk and does not rise and kind of sits there lazily as you come in.
Is there anyone who's doing an introduction, or is it just a quiet waiting?
There is no introduction. The high priest is just kind of sitting there, and he lazily holds out a hand.
I'm assuming I'd pull my helmet off before.
All right.
So having it underarm, very Roman-esque, I try to perform the official greeting for this priest. What would be normal for a knight meeting a priest of this stature?
That would be your choice. That would be a going down to one knee briefly, or you could go more informal and shake the hand, or you could go over the top and kiss the hand.
I will take the hand and take the knee quickly.
All right. He says, rise, Sir Brenrose. It is an honor to meet you. It is good to meet a knight of the Order of the Vigilant.
I am quite honored to be amongst such as you. But I do have to ask, how can the Order of the Vigilant serve the Temple of Selene and its elder priest?
Right to business, then, I see. I will skip the introductions. He smiles to his other priests behind him, who just smiled back. I will get to it then, as I'm sure you are busy. There is a movement creating some inconvenience here in our grand city. A movement from people that call themselves the Wolves. They are an insignificant lot, but an annoying group of people. Perhaps you've heard of them?
Heard mention of them, yes.
Well, there are several important members of the Navaran Senate who have made donations to the church. Very, very sizable donations, as you can imagine, in return for us denouncing these wolves and showing the people of the city the dangers of these terrorists and so on and so forth. I'm sure you can imagine.
Brennerus remains stoic, but...
All right. He doesn't know what to read of it, nor does Tom. Well, as a knight from Calavier, it is not common to have a man of your honor in the city. It would be valuable to have you lend your support to our cause. I know you're busy, but sharing just a few words would make a world of difference to us here.
I see. As I understand it, you have some support you're looking to gain. I do appreciate being summoned here.
Well, then that I am glad to hear. There's a special ceremony then in just 2 days with members of the community, important folks, and some of the senators themselves coming to this ceremony here within the church. Having you stand before the congregation to speak of how you are actively working to hunt down these wolves, that would be wonderful. You don't actually have to do what you say, obviously. Just showing your support as an ambassador of Calavier is more than enough.
I appreciate the invitation, Elder Priest. The Queen has had me on another errand at this time. I would not be able to attend this gathering.
This gathering is of a great deal of social importance, and as I mentioned, there is quite a matter of some financial exchange happening that would be poorly thought of if you didn't make an appearance.
As it turns out, I happened to find that another knight of the Order has made his way here. Sir Kendall has actually stepped into the grounds. Perhaps he would take up such a feat.
We have reached out to this Kendall and have not been able to make contact, and yet
He is
here
quite
you
that
are.
way. Somewhat. It is unfortunate that he is not able to be as reliable as you would hope him to be. But the Queen's business is pressing. And with the greatest respect to you, Elder Priest, that must be the principal concern that I have at this time.
You see a little bit of more energetic light in his eyes, and he says, I would make a very excellent ally to you and to Calavier, you understand, and with all due respect, I would make a dangerous enemy. So why don't you rethink your choice and try once more?
The Church of Solene has my utmost devotion. The Queen has my loyalty. Her matters are pressing.
He's growing furious in his eyes.
Sorry.
With the greatest respect to you, Elder Priest, I will take my departure. But with all loyalty and respect, I wish you a good day.
You do not take your departure without my leave. You do not defy me within the walls of my own church. And he lashes out in anger with divine magic against you, Sir Brenros.
Ouch.
You are blasted with searing holy magic, much to the surprise of the priests behind him. Make a fortitude saving throw, please.
Oh crap, he's the high priest.
Even Xander feels it.
Right. Ah! It stings!
Fortitude saving throw.
Please.
Please, indeed.
I'm going to re-roll that with a hero point.
Yeah, that 7 is a little low. There you go.
A 31.
Woo!
With a 31, you take a huge blast. Wow, 31's fantastic. You take a huge blast of energy. You are thrown back about 15 feet out of your chair, are sliding on your back, and you have taken just 1 point of electrical damage instead of the massive amount I just rolled. And you stand there almost completely untouched. You pat yourself trying to figure out what giant hole is in your chest and what the heck just happened. And you see where you were sitting moments ago, 15 feet away as you were pushed back, is a silver outline of a golden image of the goddess Solene wielding a sword and shield that shimmers there, having absorbed the magic herself, and then that fades instantly away. The high priest. What is this? What illusions have you cast? What is this devilry? And his priests start grabbing him and pulling him away from his desk. And one's rushing to you, throwing out their hands like, no, don't do anything. And they are pulling him out of the room as he is screaming, what has he done? And we will stop there for tonight.
Jesus.
All right. Thanks, everyone, for checking us out. Don't forget to check out us on gloriousbards.com for all our social media, as well as patreon.com/ingloriousbards if you want to support the show. And we'll see you next time.